Hello and welcome to Headingley for the second of the Men's Challenge Cup semi-finals. Today we've got the holders of this famous trophy, a club with an incredible cup pedigree, against a side whose last success in this competition has almost been consigned, well, to ancient history.
Anyway! Wigan, the Challenge Cup winners.
Atomic. The ladies not for turning.
From that end of the six-day siege.
There goes Whistle. Kingston Rovers win.
The Sinclair C5.
What a majestic piece of rugby. Hanley is going all the way. What a try!
Y'all ready for this?
The Challenge Cup once again in Wigan's hands.
Oh dear me.
30,000 Wigan fans saluted.
You're unbelievable.
Superb effort.
and annus horribilis.
Oh, he scored!
What is love? Baby, don't
The 1993 Challenge Cup to Wigan.
no more. What is
That is one sensational try.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Oh, Robinson going for the corner. Magnificent try. She's done it.
I pronounce that they be man and wife.
Suddenly, there's open space for Joel Tompkins.
the waiting is over? It's about damn time.
Contrasting fortunes for these two great clubs in the Challenge Cup over the past 4 decades. 43 years on from their maiden cup win in 1980, Hull KR are back in the semi-finals for the second successive season. But after a disappointing defeat to Huddersfield at this stage last year, head coach Willie Peters will be hoping for better today. The Robins have been going well in Super League, and a first trip to Wembley since 2015 would turn a good season into a great one. Wigan are the reigning champions and have won the Challenge Cup 13 times since Hull KR's solo win. Their head coach Matt Peake hopes to give outgoing joint owner and chairman Ian Lenigan a fitting send-off with more cup glory at Wembley. Wigan are one of the most exciting teams in Super League to watch, with plenty of attacking flair, headlined by Bevan French and Jay Field. But can they find the right balance between attack and defence? We're live at Headingley with just one spot at Wembley left to play for. It's Hull KR versus the Wigan Warriors, and kickoff is in just under half an hour's time. Then at 7 o'clock we head over to the iPlayer and BBC Sport app for further reaction and analysis in Challenge Cup Extra. And all of this, of course, builds towards Challenge Cup Finals Day on August the 12th, where the women's final will be played alongside the men's match at Wembley for the first time. Well, we've got with us Jamie Peacock, Faye Gaskin, who has already booked her place at Wembley with St Helens yesterday, and Kevin Brown. And Faye, have you come back down to earth yet?
This morning I woke up and I was like, was that actually a dream? And then Jodie Cunningham rang and I was like, it wasn't a dream, we're going to Wembley. So yeah, cloud 9 at the minute. Hopefully once we meet as a squad again on Tuesday, we'll get our feet back on the ground.
It was an incredible drop goal that you kicked to win it. Just talk us through this moment.
Oh, so the play of the ball was quite slow at the time, and then I thought, this is the time to put your foot through it. There's 47 seconds left on the clock and I thought, it's now or never.
And the emotion at the end, incredible. And for yourself, for those that don't know, just talk us through the injury that you've come back from.
So in 2021, I fractured my kneecap and my tibia, which was a career-ending injury, but I just wanted to get back to the sport I loved. I felt like I lost my identity once I stopped playing, and this year I finally got back on the pitch with the girls, and yesterday we booked our place at Wembley.
It was an incredibly emotional day. I mean, what was going through your mind at that moment?
It was funny really, because when the drop goal went over, I was like, we've still got a minute to play, we've got to get through this. And then that final whistle went and I didn't know whether to cry, laugh, what to do, and Em Rudge come running over to me and she was just like, we've done it mate, we're going to Wembley. And the fans were outstanding, we've got a really good fan base at our club, so to hear them cheering, it just brought everything back.
Well, we've just seen the Hull KR team come out here to warm up. We should be in for quite some day today, shouldn't we? I mean, Hull KR are a team that are really building on and off the pitch.
Yeah, that's right. Hull KR see themselves as a club that can push into that top four and be permanent in there, but also need to push and get into finals as well. And we've got Wigan the holders, the team with a pedigree, winning it over 20 times. I think it'll be like yesterday. We saw Rugby League at its best yesterday in both games, going right down to the wire to the games, and I think we'll see the same again today.
And how much will it grate with them that you've got to go back to 1980 since they last won it?
Well, yeah, they'll be disappointed with that, but they want to make their own history. This group of lads that are going to play today are probably the best team they've assembled since then. So
I mean, you've got to go back to different sized pictures on the telly.
Yeah, JP was playing in that game, I think.
That's a tad harsh.
No, I can say it now, I'm not on the field with him.
And there's also Facer between you coward. But I mean, they were incredible scenes, but you've been at Hull KR. They want to make modern history, don't they?
Yeah, they do want to make modern history, and they've got the fan base. They've had an amazing owner over the last 10-15 years, Neil Hudgell, and I think he's managed to assemble people off the pitch to help back them financially, and they've got the right coach in place as well with Willie Peters. They're a squad and a team that's building, but it's no good building. You have to make finals if you want to be in and around and known as a great team, and that's what this team will want to do.
Where do you think Wigan are at so far this season?
I think they're still building. They're still building. I think with Bevan French and Harry Smith, the combination has been great. And I think they're getting to a place now where they can compete and expect to win the big trophies.
Well, that's inside the Wigan dressing room, but we will build up to this match a little more. But let's just have a quick look back on yesterday's. And we did have two absolutely belting semi-finals. And the men's, wow, what a game it was. Lee getting into the lead through Zach Hardacre. Still don't quite know how he got onto that ball, but he dropped onto it to put Lee in front. But as they headed into the dying minutes, well, up popped Johnny Lomax, a man on a mission. No one was going to stop him. So that, of course, set up a conversion. Look at that. Derek Beaumont, they can all barely watch, but poor Tommy Makinson, he missed the conversion. So it finished 12-10 to Lee, an incredible victory for them. Derek Beaumont, the owner, has put so much time and money into the club. You can understand his celebrations. The leopard in chief there in the jacket that he's got. The first time since 1971 they've gone to Wembley. And a few moments ago here at Headingley, Leeds Rhinos booked their place in the Wembley final, and what a close game this was as well. But Caitlin Beavers going over for the Leeds Rhinos to give them the lead against a Wigan side who pushed them all of the way. It finally finished 16-4, so the Leeds Rhinos will take on St Helens. Let's just get confirmation of all of those results that we have had so far this weekend, starting with the women, and St Helens beating York Valkyrie by just the 1 point yesterday, and they will play the Leeds Rhinos. Lee Leopards are through to the final, but will it be Hull KR or the Wigan Warriors? Well, both Wigan and Hull KR are in playoff contention in Super League, but they've been a bit up and down so far this season. Here's Dave Woods with the form guide.
Challenge Cup holders Wigan have won the trophy a record 20 times, and they'll be favourites for yet another final this year. But they've had their ups and downs this season. Highlights in their league campaign include a Good Friday win over big rivals St Helens in front of a packed DW Stadium. And their cup campaign has been full of drama, with a narrow win over Leeds.
Wardle gets himself over. Wigan are back in the league.
Then, despite the sending off of Cade Ellis, their 12 men showed incredible resolve to beat Warrington in a quarter-final thriller. But they've had their wobbles, with heavy back-to-back defeats against Catalan and in the return against Saints. Their most recent Super League win, though, over Warrington sees them in good form for this semi-final. Hull Kingston Rovers appointed a new coach for 2023, the Australian Willie Peters, and his impact has been positive. KR's early season form saw them put together a 6-match winning run at one stage, including a 40-0 win at their derby rivals Hull FC and victory over reigning champions St Helens. Their cup run has been straightforward, easily beating championship side Batley before a steady win against Salford in the quarter-finals. But the forced retirement of fullback Lachlan Coote and an injury to key halfback Jordan Abdul has seen their form slump. They won just 1 out of 7 Super League games. The most painful reverse was in the rematch against city rivals FC. But they too have restored confidence just when it matters, beating Leeds with a golden point drop goal last weekend. It's 43 years since Hull KR last won the Cup, their only Wembley triumph. But they'll be quietly confident of rewriting history.
Well, we've been joined here by the Hull KR head coach, Willie Peters. Willie, we've just been reflecting, it's a very long time since Hull KR won this trophy. Have you sensed that in the build-up around the club, if not within the team this week?
I think every week there's a lot of expectation and a lot of hope for this team. Obviously, you have a look at the supporters that we've got here. They're hungry for success. We're building towards that, and hopefully today we can put in a good performance and go that one step further.
Did you have a wry smile yourself when it was Wigan that came out? Because, of course, when you were here, you were a Wigan player.
Yeah, it's nice to play against the old team. Really memorable times when I was there. One of the best years I've had in my life, actually. So nice to play against them, but the enemy today, and hopefully we can get one over them.
Willie, saw in the VT there, you've lost Lachlan Coote and lost Jordan Abdul this year. How has the team coped with that now? Have they been able to cope with it?
Yeah, to be honest, we probably didn't cope initially. We had people out of position. We had a couple of narrow losses, one against Wigan, one against Warrington. So we didn't cope early days, but now that we've got Brad has come in, we've got a bit of depth in our spine. So, we were a lot better last week in terms of a bit more calmness, and obviously Brad winning the game for us towards the end there. But we want to go back to being who we are.
And then you spoke about at the start of the year, wanted to change the coach, Hull KR. What were the 2 or 3 things that stood out for you that you wanted to change?
Oh, look, it's not so much change. I think we did a lot of good things. People before me did a lot of wonderful things for the club. But for me, it's just about, being consistent. We've had our inconsistencies the last sort of month and a bit. So we're just trying to narrow that gap between our best and worst performance. And, we want to be a club that our fans are proud of, and, the people in the club are proud of us as well.
You've had a real big impact on this squad. You've changed a lot of it up. What are your final words now before the lads head out for this semi-final?
Oh, look, it's one of those. We've spoken about it a fair bit, just about enjoying the occasion. You enjoy the occasion by playing to your best and leaving nothing on the, leaving everything out in the field. So I've got the easy job now. The players have got the tough job. So, we just got to sit back and see what happens after 40, and then we'll go again for another 40.
Have you had a few selection headaches this week? You brought Brad Schneider in. He had an absolutely fantastic debut. But how did you decide on having Rowan Mills alongside him, not Mikey Lewis, who's available?
Yeah, look, I think we went with what worked for us last week. Mikey's got a few things that we need him to work on. We've kept him in the team for a long period during those times. He's only young, still learning, so you don't know. We'll know after the game and during the game how it's panning out. But the halves last week did the job, so we're sticking with them, and Mikey's got an opportunity as well.
I mean, what a debut from Brad Schneider. I mean, he must have been on cloud nine, and now he goes his second game for the club. It's a Challenge Cup semi-final. What does he know about the Challenge Cup?
Yeah, huge. I mean, it's big in Australia. Like, obviously, when I was growing up, and obviously now Brad being a younger guy, we all know about it over there. It's a huge, prestigious competition, and Brad wanted to be a part of it, and he's got an opportunity now to be a part of it. So it's exciting for him, and we're glad to have him.
And how do you stop Bevan French, Jay Field, or is it focusing on yourself and not focusing too much on them? How do you approach that?
It's a good question. Last time we only had Bevan to handle, and we handled him for 76 minutes. We didn't handle him for 4, and then that's when they got us in the back end. Now, obviously, Jai's in the team. So you need to worry about those 2 guys, but we've got a system that we believe in, and if we stick to our system for 80 minutes, then we'll handle them, or we will handle most of what they throw at us anyway.
And how much has the side, obviously you weren't here last year, but how much have they learned from last year's semi-final where they didn't perform the way they would have liked to have done?
I think it comes back to an individual thing. It's how well do they prepare, in terms of the game. it's a different. Obviously, we're playing a different team, and it's a different year and all that sort of stuff. But you learn by experience. So I'm hopeful that they've learned by that experience, and we'll know in 80 minutes' time.
And you look around, I mean, we're not actually up to kick-off yet, but the number of Hull KR fans are already in here. I mean, wow, the support you've got.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, obviously the Wigan fans as well, but we've got unbelievable fan base. Even during tough periods, they stick by you. They're loyal fans, and hopefully we give them something to cheer about today.
Willie, thank you so much for joining us so close to kick-off. Go well today. Well, let's get back out onto the pitch. Kevin Brown can give us the Hull KR game plan.
Thanks, Tanya. Well, Hull KR have been really unfortunate with injuries this year. They've lost key personnel in Coote and Abdul, but with this man who they purchased from Australia, Brad Snyder, he made his debut for Hull KR last week, and it couldn't have gone much better on this field. He scored a try, and he also created a try, but more importantly, he got the drop goal that won the game. He's just going through his plays now, and I love the way he's so composed, how he plays his plays. But what he's got, he's going to have Mikey Lewis, the X factor, on the bench today. If Brad Snyder, the man who's come over from Australia, can link up with Mikey Lewis when he comes on the field, and they can bring the best out of them both, then they've got a very good chance of going down to Wembley in the following weeks.
I think he was about to get run over there, Kevin. I don't know where he's gone to. We've lost him. Let's have a look at the Wigan team then today. They're a pretty settled team, but Willie Isa does come back. He's been out for a fair few weeks with a hamstring injury. Kai Pearce-Paul is on the bench. He made his comeback last week. Jay Field is at fullback. Bevan French is in the halves with Harry Smith. Now, I don't quite know how fit Kevin Brown is these days, but we've asked him to leg it from one end of the pitch to the other to give us the Wigan game plan. There you go, Kev. Look, you're still a finely honed athlete.
I told you I've got 20 metres, not 30. But I want to speak about Wigan. When Wigan need a player, you know, they've got lots of firepower. But one person who's been a constant for the last 10 years is Liam Farrell. This man, Liam Farrell, when they need a try, they go to him. He'll assist tries. He'll do 30 to 40 tackles a game. And when they need points, they'll have French, they'll have Field, Harry Smith, but it's all around this man. He'll run hard like he's doing now, get through the line, but he'll also defend really well. If Liam Farrell, I'm breathing heavy, if Liam Farrell can produce the performances that he so consistently does, then Wigan, once again, can be the Cup Kings this year. I need a break.
You've got about a minute and a half to get back here. You have the duration of the interview with the Wigan head coach, Matt Peat. He's been speaking to Damian Johnson.
Well, Matty, what are you expecting today? Wigan coming in, I guess, as favourites in form against a Hull KR team. What do you think?
I think it's going to be similar to the last two games we've had against each other. I think it'll go down to the wire. I think both teams will want to play with some intensity. And if yesterday's anything to go by, it's going to be tense as well. So, you know, the conditions are going to play a part, but hopefully we can put our best foot forward and show what we're about.
Big game for Toby King against his brother. He must be bouncing off the walls ready for this.
I hope so. I think they both will be very determined. Difficult one for mum and dad to watch, but they're going to get to a final, and hopefully it's Toby that's playing in it.
You've got bodies back. Willie Isa has been out for a long time. Kai Pearce-Paul returned last week. Gives you a bit of impetus going into this.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good to have those bodies back. Thickens up a little bit. It means some players who've been playing regularly, it's been difficult to select the team, but that's how you want it.
The incentive is massive, isn't it? Lee waiting at Wembley in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, it's huge for the town, huge for the club. But we've got to try and channel that emotion correctly and make sure we get our rugby right and perform the way we can. And the emotion will be there when it's needed, but first of all, we've got to play the way we practice and show the best of us, else, you know, we'll be watching the game on the TV.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Kevin, do you need a moment?
I could do with a drink as well.
Let's stand down this end of the row, shall we, and just give you a bit of time to get your breath back. Poor fella, you've done very well. Well done. How do you think they balance the partnership now between Jay Field and Bevan French? Because they played around with positions, not the same as last season.
Yeah, I think they've got a great balance there. I think if you look at the Wigan side before, the last 15, 20 years, the DNA would be like dogged, be competitive and be ruthless and resilient. But I think this season, and particularly under Matty Peat, they've started scoring tries, been really, really good in attack, scored over 8 tries, second in the league, and the man who's at the heart of that It's Bevan French now is at stand-off.
And it's almost been trial and error. It didn't work with Jay Field and French. French was killing it at the start of the year when he moved to fullback. So they played with the idea of putting Field there. That didn't work, and I love the fact that Matty Peate's gone, no, it's not working, let's change it. He's changed it up, and Bevan French now, he's not just a runner. The ball playing ability that he's got second to none.
That's a brains trust, isn't it?
I won't want to upset them.
Sean Wayne doesn't look happy. We're the ones getting wet. I think they're in the dry. I don't know what the problem is. I know, Faye, you're a huge Bevan French fan, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I just love the way he takes the line on you. He's one of them players you never know what's going to happen. He's got that X factor. His kicking game's outstanding, and when he takes that line, he's going himself or he's looking for that option.
So how do you think he is faring in the halves as comparison to fullback?
Even better, and I never thought I'd say that. At fullback, he was a real run threat. He did stuff like this, JP, where as a middle defender, what must that be like?
It's awful. He's the most difficult to player to tackle in Super League, over 100 tackle balls. This is what they signed him for. He's electric, quick with the ball, got great agility, but we're going to see shortly how he's evolved as a player now. He's adding to that Wigan side.
And that's what we were speaking before, me and Faye. When you're taught as a half-back, it's run first, and then that'll open your passing and kicking game. He has obviously ran first, but I never knew he had the ability just to miss out 3 and 4 people. And he does it regularly, it's not a fluke. And he does it sometimes without looking at the person he's passing to.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see when he takes to the line, it just opens them gaps, because if he goes straight, the defenders have to draw to him, and that's something he does well. There was 3 or 4 defenders stuck on him before he could slide them.
In terms of coaching against him, I'm not sure how you shut him down, because if you tell him he's going to run and you're trying to shut the run down, he'll get you with a pass, and if you try and get him with a pass, well, he'll do something like this and he'll just kick for himself and score.
I think when he gets the balls in his hands, it's 5-6 players all round and all need to know they need to defend against him. I think the key will be sending a lot of traffic at him when he's not got the ball and try tire him out. But I think from a problem from Wigan, they've got a great solution out. They've got an outstanding player there who can kick, run and pass as well.
And then they've got the left edge. If that's not working, they can go to Faz and Jay Field and everyone else on the other edge. Frightening.
How important to Bevan French, though, is Harry Smith and his control, his kicking game? I mean, he was brilliant in the quarter-final. He obviously set up the kick that won them the Challenge Cup final last year.
Yeah, absolutely. You always like to have one half who conducts the field and one half who runs, and I think this partnership works perfectly. The kicking game of Harry Smith just turns teams round time after time, and then you've got that attacking running shape from Bevan French.
I think he's got great accuracy with his kick. That's what stands out for me, his weight on his kick and his accuracy for a young player, and it's going to be hugely important today in this weather, Kev.
And this is the area, the accuracy that you mentioned. The area is in the good ball, in it, where he's attacking the line. He just puts it on the money every time, and I think the fact that Bevan French is in there running round has almost freed him up a little bit just to concentrate on his job and absolutely master it. And he has done, he's done exactly that. He's mastered his craft. And when you say the weight there, it's so pinpoint.
And here we see it in the biggest game of the year. This is the reason why they won this game. This deft kick, the weight on it, just outstanding for Marshall to go in the corner. That broke the game.
And I think for the weather today, I think it's even more important. With it raining, I think the best kickers of the ball, the team, Snyder, Lewis and Mills against Harry Smith, I think that competition.
Yeah, in wet weather, tries generally come from kicks, people spilling kick and building pressure from short kicks, and you need that long kick to get you out of your own half as well to play down the other end.
I have to say, for a moment there, I thought we were going to be taking part in the Wigan warm-up. They were awfully close, and we have fielded a couple of balls. You didn't protect me, Jamie. Your job was to protect me. The ball came towards me. You didn't protect me. We talked about, obviously, the threats that they had. Brad Snyder, we mentioned it with Willie Peters, his first game last week for Hull KR. What an impact he made.
Yeah, he had a huge impact, Snyder, in that first game there. We can see some bravery here as a half running into Hall. He knows he's going to get hurt, and he comes through the other side and scores. And I think he's just got great composure. He's relaxed, composed, beautiful kick there for another try.
He's actually quite a big man as well. I've just been up at the side of him, and he's probably 6'1", great athleticism, but his composure is what sets him apart. We saw a drop goal from someone yesterday. It wasn't quite as good as Faye's, but talk us through this, Faye.
Yeah, you can just, we talked about him being composed, and this is his debut, and he's deep enough there, and it's just a strike. That's all that matters, as long as it goes over them sticks. If he does that today, he'll be the biggest fan here at Hull KR.
I think yours looked better, certainly aesthetically. I know it had the same amount, but, you know, we're going to give you the drop kick then. How important do you think he's going to be? I mean, Jordan Agbel is a huge miss to them, isn't it? But it's a hell of a lot of pressure on a young man who's in his second game. Yeah, it's huge pressure for him, but, you know, pressure makes diamonds, and you need semi-finals like this, and I think it's going to be key for it. I think as well, just on another side, that Hull KR side, maybe last year, wouldn't have beaten Leeds off the back of a Hull derby, and I think that's the influence of Willie Peters, trying to make them more gritty, trying to make them more resilient and able to deal with adversity, and they're going to need that today if they want to beat Wigan. And how much is that mentality going to be key today?
Oh, it's going to be crucial. I think the small margins, I don't think there's going to be much in this game. I think there are going to be tries scored off kicks, but you can't underestimate the amount of fans that Hull KR have brought as well. So the atmosphere up that end is very similar to this end with Wigan, and that's not normally the case. Wigan normally take over, so the atmosphere will build into something. And I think Brad Snyder, he might not know what he's got himself in for until he comes out on this field today.
And we talk about leaders, and they've got a really good one, Hull KR, in their captain, Sean Kenny Dow. He's retiring at the end of the season as well, but I mean, what an immense player he has been for them.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. As I said before to the lads, he's like having another forward on your edge, just the way he takes on the line and backs himself, but also these hands, he tips it on, and today will be a special occasion for him. He'll want to get that win.
I think the signing for everything you're seeing right now is athletic ability, his ability to score tries. But I've heard over there they're hugely happy with what he's brought off the pitch in terms of his effort areas, in terms of his leadership as well, Kev.
Yeah, and you see all the little things he's doing. You know, it's not just the tries he's scoring, but the effort he's put into chasing kicks, and that's going to be crucial again today. You've got to have effort and you've got to have endeavour, and that leadership, like you say, JP, in the big games, the leaders with experience normally turn up, and if he can turn up and drag his team with him, then they've got a massive chance.
Yeah, they've got a great chance of scoring kicks to the corners with him going up in the air today in this kind of weather and competing for it. That's a way that Hull KR will get points.
And we saw yesterday that Lee, though they didn't have experience necessarily in those type of games, they had plenty of players that did. I mean, an old friend of yours, Ryan Hall, has got experience to burn in these big occasions. How important is that big game experience?
Yeah, they're huge, those players, because they make everybody else feel calm around them, because you understand the game, you understand what's involved. You don't play the game in the training leading up, you don't play it in the dressing room, you come out and got that composure, and I think experienced players give other players around them that confidence, because they stand next to them, stand next to Sean Kenny Dow, Ryan Hall, and think, do you know what, we've a chance today with players of this calibre.
And who were the key people in the dressing room that you look to?
Oh, well, when I played for my country, JP was one of the ones that you knew if the Australians were going to start fighting, that he'd beat them all up. So, but you look to them players who you know you trust. A James Robert, you know they're going to do the job. A Johnny Lomax, you know, Josh Charlie, them experienced players. It's not normally, or Sean O'Loughlin, it's not the people who speak the most. It's about what they do, and you know you don't have to worry about that.
And how much will Wigan draw on the fact that they did this last year? They got to the Challenge Cup final, went on and won it.
Yeah, they will, but also they carry a lot of pressure as well. They're the current holders, and you get a target on your back when that's due, so they'll have a lot of pressure on this game, but they'll want to retain that.
I just think Wigan have been outstanding on the run this year. They beat Leeds in a torrid game here. They beat Warrington with 12 players. I've got a theory that the more you invest in those early rounds, the more you're committed in the later rounds.
Well, I think you can probably say that for Hull KR too. They invested early in the early rounds, probably had a dip, but they've not suffered too much because they've started to get players back, and they're in the semi-final, and they're still in the top six of the Super League.
What are these moments like? What's going to be being said in that huddle?
You wouldn't, the
That's
polite
broadcastable.
version.
That is broadcastable.
I just said, let's try and hit things really hard. No, look, you know your game plan, be composed, everybody do your role, get out and do your job, and get ourselves into the game. Play wet weather football. You'll be speaking about that today. Play wet weather football and what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I won't be telling how many people I'm going to win tonight. It's all about, look, we kick the ball, we stick to our plan. And like Lee did yesterday, you know, if you have to show a bit of character and resilience and you have to dig in, you might have to get through some real tough times to come out of the other side. And the reward, like Faye knows, is so much better than feeling that fatigue and giving up.
How much are those emotional stories? We've talked about Sean Kenny Dow. Ian Linnigan is moving on, and he's been so integral off the pitch for them, the chairman, the co-owner. Matt Peake saying he wants to send him off for more Wembley glory. How much does that build at this time of the season?
Yeah, it does, and sometimes you've got to make sure your emotions don't take over. I think as a player, if you're able to control them emotions just now before you're ready to walk out in probably one of the biggest games of your career to head to Wembley, then that's a win for you.
I think it's able to give you an edge. I think those kind of moments give you an edge. I think you need to tap into that emotion. You know, some person who's special within your team, and you want to send them off in the right way. I've seen it time and again work during my time at the Bulls and Leeds and with England. You see it all the time in sport. Connecting emotionally with a story as well as wanting to win is a big thing that you can do.
So who wins it for you, Kev?
I think Wigan are just too good at the moment. I think Hull are a very good side, but for me, I think Wigan just tip this one.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Kev there. I'm going for Wigan as well.
Well, I'm going with Hull they're just a bit different, and just because my heart's with them a little bit, with a really tight win.
Lovely. I like it if you all disagree, because we can then come back and have an argument about it at a half-time. So they are in the tunnel. There is just one place left at Wembley. Will it be Hull KR or will it be Wigan? Let's take you up to our commentary team of Brian Noble, Robbie Hunter-Paul, and first, Matt Newson.
Well, the rain might be tumbling down here at Headingley in Leeds, but this is no damp squib. It's a Betfred Challenge Cup semi-final. It pits Wigan, the record holders of this competition, against a Rovers side with just one trophy in the cabinet. It's a side accustomed to success against one, hungry and desperate for some glory. The two sides take their place either side of that famous trophy. We will have the 13 seconds as part of Rugby League coming together against all forms of discrimination. And then once that ceremony is over, we are all set to get underway. As I say, it's a soggy pitch. The rain continues to dribble down, but there will be no effect on the play this afternoon. Wigan looking to retain their crown. Hull KR looking for a first final since 2015. And the two sets of fans have turned up in huge numbers and in huge voice. They are lending themselves to what is one of the great occasions of any season. The two Challenge Cup semi-finals. Let's have a look at the two sides. Well, Hull KR are bolstered by the arrival of Brad Schneider, a debut hero. He retains his place. Rowan Milnes is in the side too. Look out for Mikey Lewis off the bench. Well, Wigan have brought Willie Isa back in to add some steel to the back line. It just means that Joe Shorrocks, who has played very well, will have to wait for a place on the bench. But if he comes on, has plenty of options. Our referee for this one is Liam Moore, and the man in the video referee's booth is Ben Thaler. So Harry Smith to get us underway in a crackling atmosphere. The second of the Betfred Challenge Cup semi-finals is underway. It's Hull KR against Wigan, and alongside me, a dream team that won the Challenge Cup as coach and player, Brian Noble and Robbie Hunter-Paul.
Well, what a terrific matchup we got today, Matt. Really looking forward to this one. You've got the machinery that is Wigan, with superstar pace all around the field, with Field and Bevan taking the headlines there. But their international cast surely are given the favourite tags. But what we know about this Hull KR team is they're so resilient, and they're going to take it all the way. This is going to be one real close lineup.
Well, we're just going to have to work out a little bit of a positional change here, because Ryan Hall is not on the field as named. So at the moment, Mikey Lewis is in at fullback and Ethan Ryan has moved to the wing. So a change from Rovers to their advertised lineup as Schneider pumps that ball downfield. So Mikey Lewis given the starting job, and we'll try to find out whether that is an injury enforced or something else, gentlemen.
Well, it may be an injury in warm-up. I can only imagine that you certainly wouldn't leave Ryan Hall out of your starting lineup the way he's been going this year. But they're a resilient group, the Robins. They got over that. Mikey Lewis has been sensational form all year. I'm not sure that they lose that much, other than the brilliance that is Ryan Hall at times.
Gotta say,
Wigan have it. O'Neill to Smithies. Let's go down to Damien, who I think has some news for us.
Yeah, Ryan Hall looking very disconsolate in the tunnel, the Hull KR winger, a veteran, of course, these days, but he tore his calf, should I say, last weekend in the game against Leeds. He was touch and go all week, gave it a go, he said, in the warm-up, but he decided he wasn't fit enough to make it.
So, oh, what a spill from Senior! And Farrell is right on the scene, and Wigan looking to inflict some damage on Hull KR here.
It was a brilliant kick. Smith, what a kick. Moved, swung, and it gives them this fantastic field position now for Wigan.
Cade Ellis with the settler. O'Neill back to Smith. Short ball to Isa. Rovers scramble for dear life. O'Neill again. Smith orchestrating affairs as Byrne plunges forward. Wigan threatening. Strong position here. Smith to field, who rides the tackle. Electrifies that Wigan contingent every time he touches the ball. Farrell now to Smithies. Another surge. Last one in the set. O'Neill poised. Smith, oh, it's loosened out the back. And the Rovers fans enjoyed that, but the danger not over yet. Smith looking for a crossfielder here. Made choice. Backline was onside. And then Ethan Ryan, under pressure from Toby King, takes a brilliant catch, and Rovers can respond.
And they soaked up all the pressure that Wigan had early on with 2 sets. And Ethan Ryan climbed into the sky and plucked the ball out there.
And that's something that Wigan are going to need to keep an eye on today. It's been raining cats and dogs absolutely all day today. They like a dry pitch, they like to be able to push the passes. They're going to have to make sure that every pass is on the money. They're going to have to slow everything down just that little bit.
Yeah, harem-scarum stuff in the Challenge Cup semi-final. Minincella it is who takes it. Almost to the 40. So waiting is Litton. Schneider will have to kick downfield here. And he's put that straight down the throat of Jay Field, and Wigan just starting to turn that screw.
They are. Wigan are just getting the dominance at the moment. They're playing the entire game. These opening 4 sets have basically been in Hull KR's half. What that does, it takes a lot of energy out of you.
But they're used to it. I think the one thing that Willie Peters has brought to this team is, it's an overused word many times, this resilience, this doggedness. They keep going. Whatever happens to them, they always turn up at the other end of the field. So Wigan will have to be on the guard for that, but they've clearly got some game breakers in their ranks, Wigan, so you don't want to be giving them field position.
Smithies into Byrne. Unfurling the big guns here. As the last tackle is signalled by Liam Moore. Smith with one to the corner. Senior takes it this time with a really good chase from Wigan.
Get out of this if you can, Hull KR. That's Wigan's ploy. Box them into the corner, 5 metres from the sideline, 5 metres from the try line, and then it's a tough job for these outside backs of Hull Kingston Rovers.
We saw Wigan do that and specialise that in the semi-final against Warrington. Just keep turning the opposition around. Great carry there by Ethan Ryan.
Well, Hull KR will remember back to more than 12 months ago, their last semi-final in this competition. Their fans came out in huge numbers and they never got going against Huddersfield. But they are well up for it today, and their team at the moment riding this wave of assaults from Wigan. The kick downfield taken by Marshall, and they just can't get out of this rhythm at the moment.
Well, Wigan are clearly winning what we call the arm wrestle at the start, so each team's feeling each other out. They're bashing each other in around the middle, but the territory battle's clearly being won by the team in blue.
Smith poised, rattled in by Ellis, who lost his cool against Warrington and was dismissed, but his side managed to come through it. Smithies, now French, first time we've really seen him involved as the pass to King was read brilliantly. KR make the challenge for Reece Kennedy. Back now with Farrell. Dizzying array of angles. Last one.
Hold.
All about the kick here. And Smith has that kicking game, and he's gone for it himself here. Dinked into backfield, and Mikey Lewis, sharp as a tack.
Brilliant from Mikey Lewis. He's one of the half-backs that has to hang around in case of those short kicks from Smith. A kick for himself, saw an opportunity, He was like lightning to get to the ball there, Lewis.
He's not the tallest player in the world, so it's interesting that Wigan at this point in time are kicking the ball to the corners. Senior over there, he's 6'4". Michael Lewis is 6 foot nothing, 5 foot nothing. Put the ball up high and let's see what he's like underneath the high ball. But look, don't put it on the ground. He'll gobble those up for dinner.
I tell you what, they might not measure him on the scale that you measured him on, Rob, but he's on the Richter scale for sure. He runs hard.
Schneider again, use that boot, pumps it downfield. Marshall again takes it. Rovers chase will catch up with him 40 out.
Shot
from the Wigan post, and there was plenty of endeavour there. As Wigan come again. Wardle.
KR need to muscle up here. They need to get forward and try and force an error. They need to stop this cycle coming off their own try line.
Halfway line. The ball has been in some open play for some considerable time. Isa turned back on the inside, and it's the Rovers fans cranking up the volume. As O'Neill finds Smithies. Smith, the shapers on that left-hand side. Farrell leaks out a couple of extra metres. That's one. Another short side kick to come from Smith. Fields after it. Lewis underneath it. Fields gobbling it up. And a really good tackle to recover.
It's brilliant from Hull KR. They're soaking up all of this pressure. They're clearly looking for a counter-punch. They're blowing for wind. You can see them struggling to get back, but they stay in the game, they stay in the battle. They understand everything that we're going to do. They're going to try and release French and Field and Wigan on their kick chase, but they've handled everything so far.
Utterly absorbing fare so far. It's a bit like defence v attack, but Hull KR do have some magic. If Jez Litton finds a bit of space to run from these sort of positions, if they can release the likes of Sean Kenny Dow. Ryan Hall, his absence at least brings down the average age of the side. That left edge normally is a combined age of 104. And they haven't got it today. Ethan Ryan brings that down a little. There's Kennedy, swarmed in midfield. Rovers finishing their set inside their own half again. Schneider's boot is getting a workout here. And Jay Field takes it on the foot. But that's a good chase from Rovers. They're
getting further and further down the field in relation to their kick from Schneider. And now they get a knock on, they get a result. They'll feed on the scraps. They'll get everything from Wigan and they'll grow. They're like a shark attack shortly.
Absolute breakthrough. Look how happy they are. Look how much celebration they're putting in there. Every single player come in. They all run from the sidelines. They all come in and congratulate each other.
Starting off with Piranhas, we're going to have the Sharks.
Yeah, you got it. It's a bit too early for the Sharks, mate.
So we've got a scrum and a position that Rovers can finally. The Robins have a look at what Wigan are made of. Willie Peters, so far, so calm. Schneider bites into the line. Lewis, they've got it wide to Senior. What a move from Rovers! A scrum play, and the east end of the ground is going ballistic. First time they've had a dig, and they've come away with points. Okay, Wigan 0.
And that's why they were like piranhas and sharks around each other. They know they've got the game plan and some opportunities from a scrum play, and they've created the extra number. Went into the corner. Those Rovers fans truly believe now.
I think that's brilliant. When you're talking about piranhas, that's Mikey Lewis. He's the guy that creates us. He comes from the inside, he comes around the back blind, and he's a piranha. He's not a great white shark. He's a piranha. He'll bite, he'll go, he'll move, he'll create space, and he'll create tries.
Well, they got the extra man from the scrum, which gave them a 4-on-3 opportunity on the fringe here. You'll see that. Schneider's the genius here, attracting two defenders, which frees Lewis, and all he's got to do is dive in at the corner. It sounds easy, doesn't it? But he's over. He's 6'4". He's senior. He wanted to dive 10 metres out. He wasn't going to be stopped there, was he?
Well, he loves playing on this ground as Lewis Senior scored a hat-trick for scored for Ireland during the World Cup here against the Kiwis of all teams. And he has scored a huge four-pointer. And you talk about feeding. The energy from that east end of the ground. They've turned that east end of the ground into the east stand at Craven Park.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's a breathtaking view. You see the Robin song, and it's got to give you some energy. I pick up on what JP said in the opening of the show. Here's Rowan Mills with a kick. Yeah. See if he can keep his composure with all this noise.
Yeah, amidst all of the chaos, Rowan Mills has not had the requisite calm.
There's a lot of things going for OKR, and they focus on their performance and they know what they get out of everybody. Willie Peters mentioned individuals, but Snyder really digs into the line there for Lewis to have the 2-on-1 on the fringe.
It was Snyder. He got the ball and he went slow, and then he put the gas on it. Drew two players to him, and Mikey Lewis moving at speed. And that's what makes him dangerous. He's a halfback. He can pass the ball, but he's also got wheels. And in contact also, he can pull out a tackle. He's immensely strong for someone. What did I call him? 5'0". 5'0". Love little blokes in big man sports.
So Wigan get the kick-off away. Fielded by Milnes. George King, who would love to lead this Rovers side to Wembley. A brotherly battle this afternoon with Toby King on the Wigan side. Only one can please the family. But he is certainly having a pop. Litton, out to Kennedy. Ferocious running and a nice offload to Litton. But a second phase here. Minchella continues the good work.
Excellent go forward play from OKR. Great offload from Kennedy. Minchella then hits the line and gets meters after contact as well.
Milnes turns it back for Lynette. Dumped to the ground by some uncompromising defence, and then Litton with a clever kick just dabbed into backfield. It will skip along this turf and just carry for a 7-tackle set. But
those are the inches, Matt, that are really difficult in rugby league. So they get 7 tackles from the 20 metres. 6 inches this side of the line, and OKR absolutely dominating field position.
And how this game has turned. And the atmosphere crackles and sizzles and pops here at Headingley. Those Wigan fans getting a dousing on the Western Terrace know that their team still possess a threat. Farrell. O'Neill, who has taken that 9 spot for himself, it finds Smithies, swarmed upon. No space afforded. A spirited line. Smith spots the space in behind. Marshall's on his bike. Good screening run there, though, by Senior. And Lewis just allows that ball to trickle dead. And a 7-tackle set for Rovers.
Those inches again, Nobby.
Too big. Big games, it might make the difference at the end. You look at the energy battle. They're approaching this game with real vigour of the Rovers players. Every time we're going to get the ball, they're meeting them, they're getting off the line, they're showing their intent. And we question the game of rugby league on many occasions, but these two teams are really up for today.
I've got to say as well, I'm liking the battle that's forming between Morgan Smithies and Alian Minchella. Both of them ball-playing back rowers. Go to the line, they can both run the ball, they can both pass the ball, but they're both very physical as well. Play long minutes and a lot of energy.
Well, one man who would love to be out there today, he's had to take a spectator's brief this afternoon. He's down with Damien, it's Jordan Abdul.
Yeah, Jordan out and injured for the season, but it's a perfect start for your team, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We've got our rewards there for sticking in the ground. The first 10 minutes, we definitely won't win in the territory battle, but we managed to stick in there and we got our reward. We spoke all week about kicking it down this corner and putting Marshall and Field under pressure, and then Fields come up with a knock-on, and you know, we took advantage of that. I think moving forward for the rest of the game, it's just about keep doing what we're doing now, high completions and turning up for each other defensively.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yep, no worries, thank you.
King here for Wigan, a move that didn't quite come to the finish that Rovers would have been looking for, and now they have to be wary because the Tinger Express is on the ball. In the shape of Bevan French. Field offers it up to Miskey, who's really impressed since emerging in the Wigan first team side from London. Former teammate of Bevan French at the Wenty Magpies, where he actually played halfback, and Bevan French played on the wing.
Wenty Magpies.
It's fun for our Australian viewers.
Yeah.
O'Neill finds Smithies. Oh, he picked some space there behind the ruck. Last one here for Wigan. Smith's kick is key. Gives it some airtime. Another tester. And it was, in the end, Senior who took control. Lewis playing off the back of that.
There's some tight boys out here shortly. They've been going end to end, haven't they? Kicking the ball, and it's play on. Here's an error from Hull KR.
Smith to French. French throws a little dummy. Hop, skip and a jump from him.
And that's exactly what happens when you get tired. Poor decisions, try to push passes, or the carries just become loose.
Zero tackle then. Smithies finds Byrne. Point set. Options left and right. O'Neill as Wigan look to bare their teeth. Back on the inside comes Wardle. Oh, a little bit forced and laboured. Smithies weaving, bobbing, ducking and diving. Wigan in range. It'll be a go from O'Neill. Held out. Still the danger lurks. Smithies though to field. Wardle. What a lock-on tackle from Senior.
What a read from the wing. He came in, he was outnumbered, and he stopped the play. He was quick enough.
Farrell booms it. Smith will send this one up. King's in the frame, or it bounces down. French tries to smuggle it forward.
He's given a Wigan knock-on, has he? Well, I thought the Hull KR player knocked that on. Be interesting to see that. I thought that was Ethan Ryan that knocked it forward. Yeah, they'll feel a bit aggrieved there, Wigan, because even if it was a Wigan player, he knocked it back. Still, referee's in control. Hull KR of the ball. We're seeing a few tired limbs now, which might relieve a few opportunities, Rob.
Oh, certainly. I think Hull KR have done their homework on Wigan's left side. They know it's one of their strike weapons. That's why we saw Senior get up on them. They're playing very smart at the moment, keeping it tight, keeping it in the middle, trying to muscle Wigan, trying to tire out some of their flash players. And I think the weather, they're playing to the weather conditions at this point in time. But yes, we're in that fatigue factor of the game. The 20-minute mark, start to look at some of the fresher players coming off the field. But it's going to be an interesting one. There's nothing in this game at all.
Another big stomp forward from Batchelor as Schneider hoists one into backfield. And it's Jayfield who it finds in space before the chase
One of the
eventually
things
catches
Willie
up.
Peters would have insisted upon, just for our views, is that when Hull KR kick the ball, primarily through Schneider, their line has got to be intact. They've all got to be together. They've all got to be communicating, be able to see each other from each side of their head, because people like French, Miski here, Field, they're just looking for that one chink in the armour.
On comes Kai Pearce-Paul, Liam Byrne making way. Wigan rotating their pack. And it's Kai Pearce-Paul now who takes it in. Big leg drive.
He's a handful.
O'Neill sweeps to the right. French with that space in behind. Really good chase from Toby King here. Mikey Lewis has got to make a call. Will he be what a piece of impudence from Mikey Lewis.
Wow. Abbas Miski will want to see that again. He's brilliant for Michael Lewis. He's done him like a kipper. Kind of footwork you used to have, Rob.
Used to have many years ago, 25 years ago.
Kevin Brown's run at the start of the show.
That was like Tom and Jerry, wasn't it? Jerry just outfoxed him. And then a penalty. And Marcus Smithies, I think, was the man at fault, and that's been cheered like a try.
Those little things that Mikey Lewis did, though, those bits of brilliance are the difference between winning and losing. A small part of the corner there. If he gets that wrong, Abbas Miski puts him into the sidelines, and it's 6 more plays in attack for Wigan.
It's 6 more plays in attack for Wigan at the 20-minute mark where everyone's tired. And what that means, generally, that normally leads to a try. When you've got the attacking brilliance of Wigan and they just seem to dominate, that leads to try. So absolutely brilliant work by Mike Lewis there.
Kennedy taken down. Lytton plays to Schneider. Back now to King. Slides on his knees on this soggy turf. Taken to the line by Milnes. Schneider. Lewis chimes in, and a nice switch there from Kenny Dowell. Patakeg as he flicks that one out to Minchella. They don't want to let this ball go down here. Still tackles in the bank, 20 out. Milnes was a little bit of a mix-up perhaps as King is taken to the floor. Lytton, Schneider with a kick in behind. Marshall showed poise and cool and calm.
Well, not too much Weetabix, these kickers. That's the fourth one we've seen go dead in goal.
And it's Marshall who takes it in. Move! Frenetic stuff, it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's tough stuff, isn't it? Hull KR are not showing any sign of relinquishing their control on the Wigan attack. Wigan are getting there plenty, but haven't quite executed well enough yet. And the one opportunity that Hull KR at the right end of the field, they've delivered.
But I think you said it before, Hull KR are a resilient team, Nobby. They know how to grind. And when we saw it last week against Leeds Rhinos, when they ground out that Golden Point win. And that sometimes you've got to play ugly and still come up with the success. Yep. And that's a sign of a good team.
Smithies to French. French delays his pass for Field. He sprints at the line. Field with the dummy. What a try that is!
He's a freak.
Sheffield just lit the touch paper. And off he went. And it's all square.
And this is the threat that Jay Field offers. He goes at the line. You know that all he does is that stutter step. It's a stop. And as soon as he gets the defender in front of him, the half plant their feet, he can then kick off again. And he can get from 0 to 60 mile an hour in a ridiculous short amount of time. And he just skins him. And even though he's not the biggest player in the world, he's immensely strong. Look at him just ghosting around the back there. The play's on, out the back, and just stop, boom. And he just flies.
So Ethan Ryan, Kenny Dowell try to come in the end, but he just skins Rowan Mills. Rowan Mills is his man, so he gets to get to the airfield. He has to make that tackle, but it spooks everybody. Ethan Ryan comes in, Kenny Dowell doesn't know what to do because of the speed of Jay Field. Watch this. Rowan Mills just plants his feet and he cannot get there.
Pass it. No, I'm not. I'm going to put my foot down. The pedal's down. But that's what he thinks, isn't it? He's got the ball moving in the air. You're thinking, oh, he's going to make that pass, and that's what Sean Kenny Dowell thought then. He thought, I've got to turn my back on the attacker here. I've got to get out and support my wing on the defense. And look what happens. He can just do that. He does that so often.
Well, it's just a metre short from Rowan Mills in relation to what he had to do, and he released the whole Wigan right side. He just ran straight past him, did Jai Field.
So a big task now for Harry Smith, who, as they set in build-up, has had a mixed season with the boot. He was a little more accurate against Warrington. But he will have the nerves jittering in front of a baying Rovers contingent. So Harry Smith, with a couple of fans chopsing in his ear hole. We're going to keep his cool here, and he has absolutely nailed that.
Great kick.
And now it's the Western Terraces' turn to lose their minds, and it's Wigan who have the lead.
Well, here you are, Jai Field at his very, very best. Just takes Rowan Mills on and he can't deliver. That caused confusion with Kenny Dowell and Ethan Ryan on the flanks, so they make a panic situation from the speed and just blistering pace of Jai Field.
And that's what those type of players, Jai Field, Bevan French, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for time in the game. They're looking for body language from players. They're looking for those opportunities when they can come into the line.
So rumbling off the back fence comes Cade Ellis, fresh from signing a new deal with Wigan, and that might steady their nerves somewhat. You saw the craftsmanship of French and the raw pace of Jay Field. What have Wigan in their locker this time? Willie Isa back amongst it after a niggling hamstring injury. O'Neill to Smithies. Is there a bit of obstruction there? No. We're more happy with it.
Well, Farrell went through the line.
Oh, Pierce Paul drops it cold, and Rovers get the initiative.
That schoolboy error there. Pierce Paul just having a little look before he caught the ball at the defensive line, getting in front of him. Yeah. Catch the ball first, catch the ball.
He had a ball paid for the defenders, didn't he?
And in conditions like this, you've got to pay that sort of attention, don't you? It's just going to slip through. In a drier day, a warmer day, it'll stick to your hands.
Luckily that time with the carry. Turn back from Minchella now into Kennedy. Big opportunity for Rovers. Now in sight of those posts. Schneider. Slippery run that time from Batchelor.
He's been good this year, Batchelor.
Litton spins to Schneider. Looking for some runners. Minchella offers it.
The kick plays their best option here, Matt. Put the ball on the floor, it's wet. Nobody's going to want to lower their crane.
Last tackle, Litton, now at the back, Schneider. Lewis, oh, he couldn't smuggle that ball away. Really good defence in the end from Wigan, who hold out.
It's not a bad place to start a defensive set, though. You know, you're 2 metres off the opposition's line. Squeeze up your line, battle up your numbers, get forward and make them kick long.
And we are back to the old trade of sets here. But at the moment, Wigan having to come out from deep, and it's Abasmisky. Well, arms and elbows pumping. Wardle. Muscular work from the outside backs. Now Smithy's turn. Turn back into traffic with Ellis. Offload to field. Broken field is what he loves. Rovers make the challenge.
It's not a bad weapon to have on an offload, is it? In and around there.
Kai Pierce-Paul, the serial offloader, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Last one. In the set for Wigan, just shy of halfway. Well, Harry Smith sends that one up. Swirling about all over the shop. Oh, good take. Mikey Lewis.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Nobby threw me in at fullback a couple of times from the halfback. You know, unbeknownst to me, and when they put those things up, I absolutely hated them. Frightening they were.
Oh, and they forced the error here, Wigan. Sheer intent. And Hull KR just could not clear their lines. Schneider ran himself into a cul-de-sac, and there was no way out.
He knocked it on in the end, didn't he? They're too good for that, Wigan. Trying to find an opportunity on a two-pass play or an offload, a bit of broken field football. They're too intense for that, aren't they, Wigan?
Oh, definitely. They love that. They'll chew that up. There's probably no team better than Wigan in controlling the speed of the play of the ball and controlling the ruck. You know, their first bit of contact, keeping you up in the air, then taking you to the ground, and really slowing it down. They're probably the best team at it in the Super League. It's been that way since Michael Maguire coached them about, 15 years ago.
Patrick Mago is on for Cade Ellis, and he'll get a run here. Trying to splatter Rovers defenders, but they are made of stern stuff, particularly Sam Luckley. Now Smith, short onto Pierce-Paul. Had the arm out there, ready. Thought better of it. Smith. Smithies. They can almost reach out and touch it here. O'Neill peels right. Oh, what a physical! What a take! Sure, Kenny down!
He can't go all the way.
Will your legs carry you? Not with Jay Field around. But just for a moment there, he rolled back the years.
10 years ago, he'd have got there. Not now. Especially not with Jack Field chasing, but they're real in the clear here, Hull KR.
Oh, Opacek might have given that to Schneider. But Rovers can take advantage of a backpedaling Wigan here. Staunton, route one. That's got Rovers' tails up again here. Parcells come on. Roy Milnes taken down. Still tackles left in a strong position. Turn back for Staunton. This is the last. Parcell Milnes with the kick. Good chase from the net. Good cover from Sheffield, but they've kept him in his own goal.
That's the kick. This weather, you've got to get down. You've got to make sure you clean it up. You're under so much pressure. It's a great kick. Here's Kenny Dowell on the fly. Look at him go. He's thinking, I wish I was 10 years younger.
He's thinking, I'm not going to outrun Sheffield, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and overpower him. But Sheffield did perfectly then. Just give him the sideline, size them up, and then chop them down.
Well, it was the pick from Kenny Dowell was the key in the defensive line.
That comes with the experience, right? I can see what's unfolding here. I can read what's going on. I'm going to stop it.
Staunton, plenty of space to wind up in, and wind up he does.
He's only been on 2 minutes. He's had 4 carries already, Staunton. Smashed the line on every occasion.
Parcell on for Lytton as Minchella tangles with those in blue this afternoon. Setting a point for Rovers. Here comes Parcell. He's a dazzler from acting half, that's for sure. Sam Luckley, the biggest dummy half you'll ever see. Schneider. Batchelor. Wigan have just regrouped here.
They just lost their way a little bit there, Hulkar, didn't they?
Parcell poised. Finds Minchella. He has to take it in alone. There was no shape around him. But it's a good position here. Inside the 10, last tackle. Parcell finds Milnes. Dropped off to Lynette. Offload to Parcell, now Milnes. Well, they're certainly going to try and bamboozle them here. Batchelor will cart it in, and that is the turnover ball.
I think Batchelor lost the count there. They should have played on, they should have kept offloading, they should have found another small kick. But they're certainly testing this Wigan defence.
8 minutes to half-time. The Women's Challenge Cup final as part of a first ever trip to Wembley for them on the 12th of August, 12 o'clock. The men's follows at 3 on BBC One. And the 5 Live Rugby League podcast, which features our very own Kevin Brown, is available now on BBC Sounds.
Well, they get a call there, Hulkar. They force a knock on. It's a big carry. Drops the ball. Does he go backwards? Does then Parcells knock it forwards? Anyway, they've got the call here, Hulkar. They've got the scrum and feed. And when they were in this position last time, they stripped Wigan for numbers.
They certainly did. And one of the things that Wigan are going to need to do, they're going to need to make sure that they're good at the marker play. Because no one runs the ball from dummy half more than Purcell. He's absolutely devastating out of that position.
Finds it. Oh, it's a looping pass this time for Ryan, who then just steps off his foot and comes back in field. Parcell scoops up quickly. Kenny Dowell back to Ryan. They lost a little bit of ground there, lost a little bit of shape, and luckily just says, right, let's have a crack. And they are inside that red zone now. Time ticking down the back end of the first half. Schneider, short ball, Batchelor. Right into the bread basket there. And Wigan absorbing. Parcell waits. Short to Luckley. Offload, little wraparound play. Nice on over Staunton. Oh, what a fold-up that was. Terrific defence. Still the threat lurks. Schneider goes for the big one again for Ethan Ryan. And it's a forward pass.
That was a poor decision. As much fun as that set was, that was a poor decision on the end of it. But I tell you what, that's some scrambling defence by Wigan. Take your hat off to them. Take a bow, boys. You had to do some work here. Watch them all just start folding in. Man after player, just scrambling. That's a bit of desperation there.
Yeah, you can almost hear Willie Peters saying, kick, slide that in, repeat set.
Well, I think it'll be a message he might have at half-time. Snyder's trying to create an opportunity, that's his job. He might need to create pressure initially for all this team. Oh, he dropped the ball again.
Parcell's come away with it. Composure, composure, composure almost the watchword now for Rovers.
That's Max Staunton again. He's giving the big see you later under the ribs and he's splashed the ball out of his grip.
Schneider onto Luckley. Luckley looking for the offload. Born in Kirkcaldy, grew up in Newcastle. He's certainly an advert for the growing frontiers of Rugby League. Taken in that time by Batchelor. And it's uncompromising from Wigan in reply. Lewis claps his hands, wants a quick run.
Farrell was offside then.
Mills back to Staunton.
Staunton's done some work since he's come on.
He is like a pumped-up roadrunner. Parcell now to Minchella. Schneider, this time it's a short ball. And Kane Lynette guides Rovers within a couple of metres here. Schneider, luckily, full-on assault here from the Robins. Wigan just about standing firm. Lynette with the flick offload. Parcell couldn't take it in. And Miski mops up.
It's great pressure from Wigan. They flew off their line, they had to. They were in a 2 and 8, all sorts. And they couldn't quite control the ball, but they're going to try and reinforce that error again that got them possession in the first place. They're really ramping up here, okay, sprinting off their line, trying to force an error on the Wigan ball carriers.
Joe Shorrock can feel a bit hard done by that he's not playing today, but Willie Isa, I mean, defensively in the last couple of sets, he's just been burying his shoulder everywhere that it hurts, and he don't really want to have to go.
Dangerous time here for Hull KR right now. Just before the half-time, how often do we see tries being scored right at the death, especially on the back of constant pressure, what we've just seen over the last 4 sets. So dangerous time, they need to battle up, talk to each other, and work hard for one another defensively.
All this being played out in filthy conditions here. The rain has not subsided. The slippery pill remains the enemy of handling here. As Mago is tossed to the deck. O'Neill misses out Smithies. Smith on towards French.
Danger.
French with the buzz. Really good defence though from Sean Kenny-Dowell. Fizzed by King to Smith. Pierce Paul. Ramrod straight from him. Wigan sensing. An opportunity burgeoning. Smith to field. Farrell on that short ball. Career trademark, but a great shot, as you say.
Schneider it was with the tackle.
Back it'll go to Smith. Checks his lines on side. Bangs one into the in goal. And there's King. And in the end, Kenny Dowell takes that in the air. And I think this might well be a dropout to come.
Let's have a look. Great kick from Smith. All onside. So if Ethan Ryan catches that, he's got his foot in play. Great call. Kenny-Dowell comes from the field of play. That's the right call from the referee.
I mean, what can you do in that position? If you're Sean Kenny-Dowell, you know the player's coming through. You know he's going to have an advantage over Ethan Ryan jumping for the ball. So you've got to go with that momentum and take that opportunity. You just got to kind of back your defence. You know what, boys? We've got to make another 6 tackles here.
Mikey Lewis threads it downfield. Field will find Mago, and Mago just ambles towards that line before his body just seemed to stop in perpetual motion.
Release him down!
I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it was powerful,
Powerful
but it was
motion.
definitely slow motion.
There was some inertia there that could have been moved on the back of the size of him.
Guy Pierce-Paul driving into the heart.
So strong.
With that defence, the ball comes out.
Penalty.
Oh, it's been deemed to have been batted out. Do Wigan take an insurance policy too here?
Yes, I think they do.
Got to take the 2.
In these conditions, going to be tight margins in the game. Harry Smith kicks for goal. He pulled it out. I don't remember You'd have to be the ultimate one-eyed person of one-eyed fanship not to understand that that was absolutely a penalty.
Oh, 100%. But there has been times in my life and my career I've been that biased that I have been that one-eyed person.
Well, there's about 5,000 at the back of the sticks there.
Yeah, don't ask them. I think we know what you're...
Well, there's one gone bright red.
We've all got it in us, haven't we?
There's one bright red going absolutely ballistic with the referee. It was a penalty.
I think that's a costume, Nobby.
It's not.
It's Spider-Man. What do you want about?
Yeah.
Not bright red.
There's one down there. It looks like a popular meat-based snack. So that's
There
fair
he
to
is.
say. There we go.
That's who I thought had gone bright red. He's really angry, that bloke.
He's smiling. Ish. So, with a little more serious matters to take care of just before half-time, Harry Smith with the chance to slot it, and he does slot it, and that is the last act of an utterly absorbing first half. 8 points to 4, Wigan are in front here, but we've seen some really classy play in really tricky conditions.
Absolutely the way we thought it would go. We've seen Wigan get field position and look to release French, look to release Jai Field, look to release their quicker big blokes on the fringes like Farrell, but they've defended stoically of Hull KR. They've found some reasons to get to the right end of the field with some effort areas. You know, they've forced errors, they've hit underneath the shoulder, and they just haven't quite unlocked the Wigan defence. So this is a really tight game.
So half-time, Hull KR 4, Wigan 8. Damien is down at pitchside with Liam Farrell.
Yeah, the Wigan skipper's with me. As tight as everyone predicted, Liam, but how do you see Wigan breaking this game out?
A bit mixed in the first half, really. We started like an house on fire really well, and there's middle period that first half where we couldn't get out of our own end because of errors, and back end of the half, I thought we got a little bit better, but you've got to do the simple things well in these conditions. If we can do that, kick well, keep all the ball, then we'll give ourselves a real good chance.
Thanks, Liam. Elliot Minicella from Hull KR is with us. Elliot, not much you can do off and about Jay Field, but other than that, the Wigan try, has it gone to plan?
Yeah, it has gone to plan. I think we're going hard up the middle. It's a good arm wrestle between both teams, and I think their probably attacks a little bit better than ours in good ball. So I think we need to work on that in the second half. Give a couple of 7 tackle sets away, and that's ultimately killed us at back end of the set. So we'll work on that for the second half.
And very quickly, how big a loss Ryan Hall just before kick-off?
Yeah, obviously a massive loss. He's a great player, but we do next man up mentality at the club, and Ethan Ryan's come in, Mikey Lewis at fullback, and I think they've both been outstanding. So big loss, but those boys are going really well as well.
Thanks, Elliot.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, as Elliot Minicella heads off into the dressing room, it's been fast and furious, hasn't it, that first half?
I think it's been an outstanding game despite the weather. I think both sides deserve credit for what they've done. We saw discipline from both teams, committed to the game plan. Great kicking as well from both sides, and both sides did lack a bit of composure at times. I thought the first 20 minutes was outstanding. There's hardly any errors to start off with, and yeah, great game.
And the match stats, they were at one point quite swinging towards Wigan. They've sort of evened up.
Well, I thought Liam Farrell, summed it up pretty well. They started like an house on fire and they were on top, and it were only when Jay Field dropped that ball, uncharacteristic, and then Kai Pearce-Paul did one too, that Hull KR started getting a foothold in the game. But I think when Jay Field, broke through, that's just another glimpse of what he can do.
Faye, how have you seen that first half?
Yeah, I thought Hull KR built quite a lot of pressure. I think the way they were kicking to get some field pressure, I think Wigan couldn't have any answers to that to start with. But once they built into the game, I don't think KR could deal with that.
So let's go back to the beginning, and it seemed sort of one-way traffic, but Brad Schneider's kicking was just building them nicely, wasn't it, Hull KR?
I think they were beautifully disciplined with this Hull KR. It was clearly part of the game plan. Jordan Abdo spoke about it, to keep kicking to Wigan's left-hand side between Marshall and Field, and repeatedly doing that over and over again, having that relentlessness to do it.
And he was under a lot of pressure as well. The kicks weren't brilliant, but he kept sticking to the game plan, and that shows an element of trust that, even though it's not coming off straight away, they kept doing it, and then they got the reward when Jay Field took the ball. The defence got stuck into him because they knew what was happening, and then he ultimately drops the ball. That gives them the opportunity.
I think good sides believe in the process, and I think that's what you've got to do in this kind of weather, and that's how they'll end up. If Hull KR are going to win the game, that's what they've got to get back to. I thought they did that the first 20 minutes, and then they scored a great try off the back of it. How good Mikey Lewis is at the back here for.
Yeah, we spoke about Mikey Lewis moving from half-back to full-back. He's a natural with passing the ball. His skill level is quite high, and you can see here as Snyder straightens up, that out-the-back option is on, and it's a 2v1, and just the way he catches and passes was perfect.
And you just see there in the graphics that Liam Farrell can't get across. He can't get across, and it's Harry Smith who wants to drift off and help his outside defenders. But what Sneijder does there is drives really hard and ultimately gets the try and gets the reward.
And Lewis Seniors was one of those players that he's not a big name, but you give him the ball in that position, he is always going to score.
Well, I think he's been outstanding in this half. I think he's carried the ball really hard. He's done everything he's needed to do, and it was a great finish there. At the end, needed what to do, got low and dove over the line.
You mentioned Mikey Lewis going in at full-back, but you said to me during commentary that they will have known Ryan Hall was a doubt. They'll have practiced with him at full-back.
Yeah, I think so. With a late change like that, I think sometimes you can be a bit like that, coach. But I think Mikey Lewis has been outstanding in this game. It's not his natural position, but he's brought what Mikey Lewis brings to it: a lot of attitude, a lot of energy.
Well, it's almost turned into a positive because he's been tested over and over again, and that's what you would expect from Wigan, to keep testing him out. But they tested him a couple of times, and then on the fourth occasion, he looked like something out of a sprinter, where he just went left foot, right foot. He broke his ankles, and then this is it now. The kick off Bevan French is a terrific kick, and Mikey's got nowhere to go.
It's a little bit like my dance moves on TikTok.
I'm amazed your feet move that fast, I have to say, JP.
I just think this was brilliant. It's audacious, you know. He's got such self-confidence, I think, Mikey Lewis, and you need that to pull off that kind of move.
It sort of suits his game, Fair. The way he's got that X factor. He's out of the way defensively because he's got the most defensive misses in the competition. He is statistically the worst defender, so to put him out the way and play to his strengths actually helps.
Yeah, and for Hull KR, they've got 3 half-backs on the pitch. I know he's dropped out as full-back, but what he brings to that squad, he's built confidence in. Like we said, he's got no right there to dance out of the in goal, and that's something that we're going to be really disappointed in.
And how much will he be enjoying being at full-back and having that responsibility, do you think?
I think he will. I think he's a player who likes to step up to the moment. And he's a player that makes things happen. And he's making that happen for Hull KR, but he's got plenty of players doing the same for Wigan in the same position as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had a beautiful try, didn't we? We talked about Bevan French and how he's developed as a halfback, and then in pops Jay Field on the end of it.
Well, it was just typical Jay Field. It didn't really look like there was much on. The play didn't look great, and then all of a sudden, if he gets half a chance, that's the difference. He gets half a chance. It's very similar to the try that Hull KR scored. He gets posted, so you see the line coming inside. I think it's Milnes, and he just stops there. And that gives Jay Field a moment extra. He doesn't need any more, and he's through the gap and over the line.
I think we're being really hard on Milnes there because he's got French on the inside, he's running about him, and he's got Jay Field on the outside. I won't like to be defending
I wish I could have took you into video when I used to get that done to me, Jay.
I'd have helped you out, mate, there.
I can't imagine if he was in the video, he'd have been as sympathetic.
No, he'd have been blaming me for another try.
You said before you love watching Bevan French, and you can just see him developing and developing, can't you?
Yeah, you can, and I think he's moving this squad around the pitch quite well, and Harry Smith as well, his kicking game has been a real big point of this. We looked at his conversion rate before, and you see him there, he nails one from the touchline, and I think in a close game like this, a semi-final, they're the kicks what really matter.
It's certainly looking very calm in that dressing room. A moment just before half-time. Discipline is key, isn't it, particularly in conditions like this and in big games?
I think this is a big blow towards Hull KR, you know, putting them a try behind now, and this lack of discipline leading to the 2 points for Wigan. I just think you've got to have your discipline spot on in areas like this, and that's just a bit sloppy for me, and it's costly given all the effort they're putting to go down 4 points.
If there was a video for a black and white steal to give a penalty away, that's it. Straight in front of the post, or just close to the post, and he slots it over. We saw yesterday how important that can be with Tommy Makinson missing a couple, and like Fair says, he has taken a little bit of stick this year for his goal kicking, so fair play, he's worked on that, and he's come up trumps, and that's the difference between the scores at the minute.
Faye, do you think both coaches will be reasonably happy, or will one be happier than the other?
For me, I think it's been an outstanding game. It just, again, as we spoke, it comes to discipline and them errors. The weather isn't great, the pitch is slippy, the ball is, but if you can clean up them errors, I think if Hull KR go back to the processes before me and Jamie was speaking, they just tied up nicely a defender, and it was an outstanding try. If they go back to that process, attack the left edge of Wigan, I think they'll get some more success.
Yeah, we've given in to the umbrellas. We braved it in the first half an hour, but we've given in to the umbrellas as the rain gets heavier here. Well, before this game kicked off, we had an enthralling semi-final between Wigan and Leeds Rhinos to get the final spot in the Women's Challenge Cup final. Your commentary team for this one was Tara Jane Stanley and Sharon Shortall.
Bennett comes back towards the centre of the field with Anderson.
Free.
Really sending them what look like battering rams, a wave of battering rams at that defensive line of Leeds at the moment, hoping it will crack. Here's Hardcastle now, looks for the step. There's half a gap there, and she can exploit it if anybody can. She can. Now is that ball down? The referee says it is. And Leeds get off the mark with Amy Hardcastle. Kick to come, they lead 4-0.
You're not stopping Amy there. It's very, very difficult to stop her. And they give it a good go. They tried to get under the ball, but Amy is an experienced try scorer. She knows how to put the ball over the whitewash, and yeah, she managed to find it there.
Dwyer along the line finds Marsh, keeping it moving to Banks, has Speakman as the runner. She's brought down, but still that pressure building on the Leeds line. Dwyer, the dummy runner goes through, but Banks with that possession to Vicky Molyneux, just caught around the legs, but Wigan still going, looking for that quick play at the ball. Have they got it with Thompson? Can she get her way through? She can't, but she can offload to Salihi, and Wigan hit back.
Yeah, as you can see, that turn in play then from Rachel, just because Rachel is a threat. When Rachel runs to the line, she has got good feet.
Bennett to Casey, takes on the line, great timing, and here goes Caitlin Beavers. Beavers has got Salihi to beat, and Beavers' experience does the rest, and she gets that try crucially behind the post. And with points being so few and far between already, you ask, how big a try will that be for Leeds Rhinos? Just outside the 10. Pressure building from the Rhinos. Greening to Dainton. Bit of a stutter. Here's... Yep, the try coming in from Leeds Rhinos. Tara Moxon taking the pass from Hannah Butcher. And suddenly back-to-back tries from Leeds Rhinos, but a different reflection on this game, and they open us for 10-point advantage.
She holds onto it, she draws the player, and then she passes. Really clever.
This is the last of the set. Here's Banks, chip over the top. Haywood can't take it, it comes free. Banks, can she take it? Yes, she can. But that will be the last action of this second semi-final, and it will be Leeds Rhinos that go through to Wembley on the 12th of August to meet St Helens in what will be a historic final for Women's Rugby League, beating Wigan by 16 points to 4.
And you can see a full rerun of that game at 7:30 over on the red button. And you may notice that huddled under one of our umbrellas is Caitlin Beavers of the Leeds Rhinos. Congratulations, you're going to Wembley. How does that sound?
Yeah, I don't quite believe it, to be honest. I don't think I've quite got over the initial shock of the occasion, of how filled the stadium's been. And but I'd like to thank all the Leeds fans that came out today, because it really meant a lot to us.
It was such a tight game, wasn't it? Your try, though, sort of broke the hearts, it felt, a little bit, of Wigan.
Yeah, I feel like that was something that we really needed. We needed something that would pick us up, and I feel like we made it very, very hard for ourselves. So it was practically a hit of the restart button, and we got back on top.
You had a right charge for the line there. No one was stopping you, were they?
I'd like to think not, no. I had my eyes on the prize as such, and yeah, great hands by Caitlin Casey, and that's what she's out there to do, and phenomenal.
Now, we had Lois with us yesterday, and she said, no, there's been no talk of Wembley. We haven't been focusing on Wembley. And she was accused by John Wilkin of lying just a little bit. Has there been talk of Wembley and how special it would be to play there?
Absolutely not, no. We've been very keen on just
We will be ticking John off on Lois's behalf.
No, we've been very keen on just getting the job done. We had one job at hand, and I think if you watched the game, we could see how big of an occasion it was, and how tough Wigan really are. So that's the reason why there weren't any talk about Wembley, because we had one big job ahead of us, and I think they really gave us to it today, so that's a big reason why.
And Faye, for you can now look forward to who your opponents are going to be. I hope you're going to play nice now. You know, you're beating each other up with umbrellas.
No, for us it was a dream whoever we met, so congratulations. We know every time we play Leeds it's such a big battle, and I looked at Wigan today and it shocked me at first, the scoreline, and when you last played against them it was quite a big scoreline. What was the difference today? Did they step up? Was it the occasion, or is it a different Wigan side? I think it were a massively different Wigan side. They had the full-back, Sahali back, and they had Rachel Thompson back, and they had a lot of
they moved a lot of the girls around the park. Like Anna Davies moved to my edge, and wow, was she a massive contribution to us being able to do anything. We didn't have a chance to breathe, and I think that, I don't know, I think what comes with the badge at Wigan is desire, and that's throughout the whole club, and that's, we didn't have any expectations today, and they really, like I said, they really gave it to us, and it was a fantastic game to broadcast for the women's game. I hope everyone enjoyed it at home.
And how much are you a team in development and change? Because obviously you got a new half-back pairing. Georgia Roach has gone down under. Fran Gotham, your full-back's gone down under, and Courtney Winfield-Hill retiring. I mean, it's quite a big change through your spine, that.
Yeah, the spine's a massive part of rugby league, and if you watch our team compared to last year, it's very different. The girls have come in, we've got loads from the academy, and we've had a very disruptive part to the season when the girls came and they went to NRLW, and so many injuries in terms of me and Zoe Hornby were out for 11 weeks, and quite a few girls out longer from last season, so we're still trying to find our feet, but the young girls that have come in have really made a mark for themselves, and I think they'll be over the moon to think that their first occasion to a final will be at Wembley.
Obviously, you played each other in the final down the road. Faye was part of the BBC team that day. She's jumping at the bit to get back out there. But how much do you learn from that? I mean, as you said, it'll be a great game, won't it, between you two?
Sorry, you're going to have to repeat that.
Yeah, it's getting a bit louder.
The atmosphere here is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. The teams are out, so it's probably time to take us back up to our commentary team for this game. Brian Noble, Robbie Hunter-Paul and Matt Newsom.
Yeah, that Challenge Cup final weekend is going to be some occasion. The women kicking things off with a Leeds Saints classic. Lee are already there. Wigan are 40 minutes away from joining them for a Borough of Wigan derby, but do not count out the Robins. They're very much a big part of this.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I think if we're looking for headlines in this second half, then we've got to talk about individuals. For Hulkier, Mikey Lewis, Matt Parcell with his runs out of dummy half, and Brad Schneider have to run the show. And the technical side of that, I think they've got a chance to wrap. Even in this weather, I think they've got to produce some offloads to produce the points that they'll need to get it over the line. And for Wigan, it's simple. Don't let Jay Field, Bevan French or Liam Farrell into the clear. They'll be relying heavily on Smith's kicking game.
So back underway, how important will that penalty goal right at the back end of the half from Harry Smith prove to be? It's still a score lead, but it does mean that as it stands, Rovers need to score a try to pull level, and I know that sounds like teaching Granny to suck eggs, but there we go. Just a little bit of interesting moment. So Willie Ice is still in the dressing room, by the way. So whether there's an interchange to be had or what have you. Mikey Lewis skips that one over the shoulder. Oh, what a belter that was from Joe Shorrocks, who doesn't miss.
They might have a look at this one. When a player goes like that, when they're dusty like that, they normally suggest a bit of head contact was made. It didn't look bad, I'll say that. It didn't look bad from up here, but we'll see now.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a shoulder and chin there. Back in your day, Nobby, that was a great, nice, clean hit, but I think we got a bit of contact on the head there.
So Joe Shorrocks, he has a nervy weight here. Mikey Lewis has almost a cartoon-style shake of the head.
Well, here you go. I think his shoulders hit his head. So that's contact with the head. Whether he decides to put him in the bin or not, I'm not sure.
I think, me personally, I think the initial contact makes first contact on the chest, but the upper chest.
No, I don't know where your chest begins. Not near the chin.
Hey, watch this.
That's a shoulder on his chin.
Yeah, that's a shoulder on the chin, mate. Yeah, you probably can't do that.
I don't know where your belly button is either.
I was trying to make it work, wasn't I? I was struggling.
So Liam Moore calls over Joe Shorrocks.
Shoulder,
send.
direct to the head. That's a red card.
Red card?
Shoulder to
Yellow,
head.
is it?
Yellow.
Red card.
Red.
The second Challenge Cup tie in a row. Wigan find themselves down to 12. Joe Shorrock's dismissed for the shot on Mikey Lewis. And how much of a game changer could that be? They'll have to do it tough for 39 minutes.
They've done it tough before with 12, haven't they? So they know the script. They've got to build and get something from their inner tank and their whole being to make this work the last time they did it.
Mikey Lewis carries on. A red card for Shorrocks. And Rowan Milnes finds touch. And the Rovers fans lift again, Robbie Hunterball.
Well, we did. We saw what happened. It had a consolidating factor impact on the game for Wigan last time. Look, there was still 75 minutes to go in the game at that time as well. Now there's only 35 minutes. Let's see if it has the same impact on the team. That can, you know, we've talked about it before. There's not a big difference to your defensive line by losing one player. Just energy levels. And I think with it only being 35 minutes to go, 39 minutes to go, as I look at the clock, that probably won't be as big an impact as the last game. So they've still got a lot to play, you know, they've still got everything to play for.
Here come Rovers through Sam Luckley, and there's Wigan fans on the Western Terrace getting doused with the rain. Might just be feeling a little more edgy. Minchella, Milnes back on the inside for Kane Lynette. Lewis was pushing forward there. Just looking for that late offload. Last tackle. Down the short side. Milnes. Big tester at the back here. Really well taken.
Great take.
Brilliant take from Miski.
You know, I think one of the things that I just seen in that set there is HKR's energy have lifted. I think they can smell an opportunity here.
Liam Marshall's carries out backfield. Really key. Giving those forwards a break. O'Neill tries to keep the service quick. Wardle comes forward, and it's the Rovers fans again just roaring out their chants in support of their team. Mago, punishing run through the middle that time.
Oh, he's a big man. He is a big man.
Last one for Wigan. Inside their own half, Smith flashes it downfield, and that will be allowed to run by Mikey Lewis. Whether he knew too much about that.
Yeah, I think he bailed out on it, Matt. He thought this is going to go dead, or he's hoping for that bounce. He wasn't going to catch it on the full, so he watched it go sailing over his head and thinks, oh yeah, I knew all along there was going to be 7 tackles from this.
And Harry Smith's kicking in the first half was one of the keys to Wigan's success, keeping Hokeau on the back foot. It's going to need to be very, very good now that they're one man down. They're going to need to continue when they can to turn Hokeau around into those back corners and make them try and use up as much energy as possible.
Bearing in mind we've had 120 plus minutes on this pitch so far. You have to give credit to Ryan Golding and the Leeds ground staff. They were poking and prodding away at the surface at half-time. This pitch holding up brilliantly. They had 42 millimetres of rainfall in 48 hours, and the pitch is standing up to the test so far. Credit to them. Here comes Kenny Dow for Rovers as he skids along the turf. Scooped up by Ryan. Milnes offers it up to the energetic, effervescent Staunton.
Knocks it on.
He's knocked on. Too energetic and effervescent there. In the shape of the Wigan tackles. So Wigan will get the scrum head and feed here.
This is still going to be tight, man. Hulkier can't afford to imagine that they've got so much more space with the extra man off the field for Wigan. They've still got to go through a process, look after the ball and get to the right parts of the field before they can pull the pin on anything they want to do.
Wardle gets a penalty.
Brad Snyder offside. Offside.
Rovers in discipline, handing Wigan a get out here.
Make the doctor looks after that.
You know that better than anyone, don't you, Nobby? Because back in your day, you used to play with a bobby. So you actually had 2 men in the backfield anyway, with an extra man out of that line.
Yeah. Just for our viewers, a bobby was a defender, a halfback that used to sit behind the line rather than in the line. And so all the front liners had to do all the work. So 2 people in the backfield.
And that's why you look the way you do.
Well, Tom Opacek is in some bad way. He's the trainer has just signalled for a head injury assessment, so Tom Opacek will come off. Rovers are going to have to shuffle on the fly here.
Time's off.
So just when we have this break in play for the head injury assessment, this is that red card for Joe Shorrocks. The shot on Mikey Lewis, and
you know, and that's something to think about, right? If Wigan are successful today, and Shorrocks gets more than a 3-match ban, that means he'll miss the final.
Chekhov running onto the field. Jimmy Kindhorst, isn't it, I think? Jimmy Kindhorst has played plenty of centre in his career, that's for sure. On this ground as well. Oh, see you later, says Guy Pearce-Paul. And Parcell went cartwheeling backwards. Smith may go. Wigan on the side down to 12. And they are the side posing the questions right now. Smith, Pearce-Paul again. This time it's his opposite number Staunton who didn't take kindly to it. And it's come in with some physicality on the back of it. 10 away. Smithies. Smith delays the pass. French White towards Marshall. Heading for the sideline. And it's a knock-on Mayfield. Great pressure from Rovers.
Great edge pressure. Batchelor flying, Schneider flying to the line. Tries this miraculous pass to Smith to Marshall on the sideline. Knows he's going nowhere. In fact, he's going into the third row. There's terraces over here. Tries to get the ball back to Jay Field, and he can't gather it in.
And we were talking about it in the first half, how Hull KR have done their homework on this left-hand side Wigan attack. And you saw Liam Farrell then come in again on that hard line, and what he normally does is holds the defensive line in there, but they didn't get sucked in. They moved, they slid off, and they did exactly. They used the sideline as another defender.
This is such a good game. This is such a good game from both teams.
Yeah, wet conditions, but you have not sensed the drop in quality at any point here. As Sean Kenny Dow, talismanic figure in this Rovers side, tries to guide his team forward. They're being shoveled to the sideline. Wigan mean business. Wigan mean business.
It has everything. It has everything. Keep on going, boys.
Well, I think you mentioned it in the first half. You go anywhere near the sideline like Ethan Ryan does here, and you get picked up by this Wigan defence, you're going into the third row of the stand. And that's what happens there. And look what it means to these Wigan players. Now they're the piranhas.
With one player down, it does that, though. It has that consolidating factor like we talked about. It has an impact because you know you're back to the wall, so you have to do it as a team, as a group. The 12 players left on the field, you've got to come together.
So the team in red and white have to take a step up as well to match that intensity, that the adversity, if you like, that's been brought up on Wigan with the send-off. You've got to get to the other end of the field with tough stuff before you can pull some points in the red and white.
Jake Wardle holds his jaw on the back of that challenge. Smithies finds Pearce-Paul, who's marauding again with menace. 15 away. O'Neill plays it simple. Smithies, Smith, oh, he dives around the tackle of Schneider. Now they come swarming. O'Neill again. Smithies carts it in. O'Neill is the metronome from that base of the ruck. May go. We're looking a little bit one out here. O'Neill dribbles it in behind. Danny Dow, did he run French off the ball? Well, it looked as though we're playing on here. Now Liam Moore will take a look.
Mate, we are on tackle 4.
Well, I don't think it's a penalty try.
No try.
No try on field decision. Liam Moore will send this to Ben Thaler, who will take a look in the video referee booth.
Well, please, on Bevan French.
OK, thank you. So on-field decision of no try. We're looking to the minutes of a penalty try, so we're looking to see if there's an obstruction in the build-up. So no tries at call on field. Looking at the merits of penalty try, right? There's no back there. That point, that fullback is back. However, just go back on this. Let's go back on this. Ideally, I'd like the far one. There's no issue with onside, offside, so that's fine. I've got a fullback back in position, so let's just go. So let's go. Right, that is a clear escort block, if you like. In my opinion, he wouldn't have scored a try, although I do believe that is a professional foul. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
Confirming Sean Kenny down now.
So Liam Moore waits just for his confirmation. And there we go.
No try.
Better late than never. No try, and the professional foul means that Sean Kenny Dowell will take 10 minutes in the sin bin. So just for a little 10-minute stint, we're all square in terms of personnel on the field.
It's the right call on both fronts. Kenny Dowell obstructs Bevan French, so that's the penalty. Smith will probably kick for goal here, and it's a professional foul. They're deemed to be a professional foul, and that's 10 minutes in the bin.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that. If Sean Kenny Dowell was to do anything, he should have not looked at Bevan French. I think that's one of the telltale giveaways. If you're looking at the player running through, what he needs to do is track the ball. You need to turn into the player. Nobby used to coach us this. Turn into the player, but track the ball. And that way it's fair, because you're not running the player off, you're running for the ball. I would never suggest that you would suggest us to cheat, Nobby, in any way, shape or form.
I was looking at it, where it is.
So Harry Smith.
The playbook.
Players haven't really come up, to be honest with you. It's just been isolated.
He has.
Just keep reading it, how we're reading it, boys. And
placed this ball on the tee in front of a sympathetic end of the ground this time. Fewer cheers, more cheers, potentially for Harry Smith. So as the rain continues to drift in, thoroughly miserable weather. By no means a miserable game, and it goes in off a post. And Harry Smith still blow of the cheeks there, puff of the cheeks, tells its own story.
Give it a good fair lick, didn't he? So he got the momentum to come in off. Well, what's this? In off the post. Whoosh.
Tell you what, as putts go, that was never going to come up short. He smashed that ball. Look at the face on it. In games like this, Challenge Cup semi-finals, yeah, you understand that sort of exhale. Whew.
Yeah, relief as much as joy in that occasion, wasn't it? Mago hammering off the back fence, and he's still going here, buccaneering stuff from Patrick Mago. So 8 minutes or so with both sides down to 12. Can Wigan make this period pay? They've now at least got a converted score lead, but Rovers will certainly be hawking for something of their own here.
move, screen out. Paul, goal free, not square, Matty.
O'Neill finds Smith, turn back to Farrell, who will be used as the battering ram this time.
4, move. Back up, boys, back.
Just squeezes out a couple of extra metres. O'Neill, Mago. Oh, he throws the pass. They've got an overlap here. If the pass is good from King, good scramble though to shut down Miski, who's still going, and then he seems to judo roll somebody off his shoulders. Kai Pierce-Paul to Smithies. Maybe an overlap on this side. Farrell maybe just took the smart decision there and bought some ground and bought some time.
Outstanding from Wigan. Started with Mago on the unbelievable pass. Here we go.
Kick at the back for Lewis to take, and he does so well. And then he's dribbled into touch. The ball thrown loose. Wigan have it back with another set of 6 here.
Great work, Morgan Smithies there, tracking him up there and then throwing him out. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, the work effort in the effort areas of Wigan is outstanding. Kick
Farrell to
chase.
Mago. O'Neill just directing the traffic, receiving his calls, his orders from his teammates. Smithies to Pierce-Paul, who took that standing start.
Move, straight up.
O'Neill will have another pop here. Minchella in the ruck. Play on, says Liam Moore. Smithies plunder some yards. Will he plunder some points? Wigan sniffing, maybe sensing, smelling a bit of blood here. It's a kick in behind for Field. He's just overcooked that.
Well, it was the first initial pass from dummy half from O'Neill to Smith that he had to juggle. Otherwise, they had the Nawar, so they had to juggle the ball, which gets to field, and all he can do is manufacture the kick, which is too big.
And in these conditions, on grubber kicks, what you got to do, you got to kick for the try line, which is the front line, not put the ball in goal. It's too slippery, it'll just skid off, and we've seen that happen at least 3 or 4 times today.
Jimmy Kinehorst muscling up for Rovers. Still just under 6 minutes. With both sides down to 12. Joe Shorrock sent off for Wigan. Sean Kenny-Dowell in the sin bin for the Robins as Parcell finds George King. Powerful drive from him. Parcell almost lost sight of the ball there. Kennedy romping forward.
Move straight out. Hold.
Wigan have their line set. Fine margins game as King sends his side, pokes his nose through. Last one. Now a kick to come from Milnes. Charged down, was it regathered? Back to 0 here for Rovers. And again the crowd lifts. So Parcell waits. King loitering potentially at first receiver here. Instead it's Schneider. Kennedy ramps up. Rovers fans baying for a score behind those posts. Schneider, nice footwork. Field held on around the ankles. Crucial tackle. Parcell to Minchella, straightens things up. One more tackle in the set for Rovers. Parcell back to Milnes. Had the right phrasing, but Miski was equal to it.
Miski was great there, positioned himself for that particular kick, and Ron Mills have obliged.
I think Hull KR just a little bit too excitable there. Everybody wants so desperately to get over the try line, they're just losing their shape. And then they compound it by giving away a penalty. Coach killers. Willie Peters will be up there pulling his hair out.
Seems always gone for a close crop in that sense. As Smith belts that one to touch. Tom Opacek has passed his head injury assessment, so most likely will come back on. Jimmy Kinehorst to go back off as the initial interchange was made for that head injury assessment. Wigan piling forward now through Cade Ellis. Stampede from him. O'Neill lurks with intent. Smith onto Pierce-Paul. Skimming that line.
He's been great today, Pierce-Paul, and he's been a threat all the time. Hull KR and commit numbers on defence on him because of his offload threat.
Smith, nice footwork. Manages to wriggle and offload away. Was it knocked on? It's been pitched back. Real ebb and flow in this game. 23 to play. This is some semi-final.
Wow, they're going at each other. Hammer and tongue is the expression, Matt.
Rovers desperate to return to the National Stadium and avenge their 2015 humiliation. Wigan desperate to keep their hands on the trophy and offside against the Cherry and Whites in their blue kit today. And Rovers get a big jump start here.
I think 5,000 fans were willing and urging that call from Liam Moore.
I love the build-up into what just happened there. Michael Lewis carrying the ball. Harry Smith saw him, jumped all over him, and there was that little battle that led to that penalty. But then Mikey Lewis and Harry Smith just had given each other a little bit of a serving as the penalty was given.
Kennedy fronting up for Rovers.
Move down.
Parcell waits. Morgan Smithies with a bit of afters there with Kennedy. That's going to continue for some time. Schneider ran down a bit of a closed avenue there, and he's being forced back by Wigan. It's almost,
great
dare I
defense.
say it, rolling more.
Great defence from Wigan.
And then a foul A penalty, should I say. And Mikey Lewis and Liam Farrell at each other's throats. Manchella gets involved. Feisty.
I love it, Mikey Lewis, just one of those characters. You get those, you know, with the little blokes in the game of rugby league, they're feisty, they're battlers. And there'll be loads of talk going on. They'll be giving players on the opposition side of serving, just needling them a little bit.
Do your job. Don't get distracted. Do your job out there. They're 6 points behind.
Here comes King, leading by example.
Move, King!
Setting a point. Parcell on the back of that, finds Kennedy. Eager for work.
Move back!
All throughout this game in his stint so far. Parcell finds Schneider. Short ball at the line to King, but Wigan up. Ferocious. Both sides testing each other's mettle. Schneider. Oh, Lewis had to gather that from behind him. And Wigan's pressure pays off again.
Well, it was execution. Schneider had to go into the line and he threw it behind Lewis. Maybe a bit early on his assignment, Mike Lewis here. As we see, he throws it behind him. And
you got to say that that's a mixture of Schneider, new to the system, Mikey Lewis, not the normal fullback, just timing issues. They'll get to some point, you know, they want it to be sooner rather than later, where you don't even have to watch for where each other are, where their timing is there, you know where to be at the right time. Interesting to note that they did play out the back then, because for the opening 60 minutes of this game, they've pretty much just been hitting the lead runner on this right side. And the space actually has been out the back, but just poor execution. So maybe go back to hitting their lead runner.
So Tom Upper jet back on, should I say? Tom Upper jet back on, sorry, and Sean Kenny Dowell also back in the fray. Hour gone, 20 to play. One converted score in it. Next one wins it.
I don't think so. This is going to golden point for me.
We shall see.
You heard it here first.
Straight up.
Trying to put your overtime payments in.
Leave it, Morgan.
Smith.
Nobby
What's
gets
that
paid.
into space? Scooped up at the back that time. Nathan Ryan covering the space. Here comes Kenny Dowell.
He'll feel he owes the team, so he'll be ramping, charging up his batteries. Which we haven't seen of much of that is Matt Parcells diving out of dummy half, isn't it? It's Michael Lewis then, but there you go. That's what comes.
Set restart for Hull KR, who have the man advantage now. Joe Shorrock sent off for Wigan. They're down to 12. Kennedy now for Rovers. God, his ribs will ache tonight. But he has ploughed that furrow for those in red and white this afternoon. Schneider, dummies. Schneider still going here. That was cute play. Wigan almost anticipating that ball, and it didn't come. Manchella to King. Forthright carry from him. Rovers edging. Here comes Schneider. That time the short ball for Lynette.
Last tackle. What you got in your locker, Matty Barcel?
Parcell goes short to Kenny Dowell. Look at him offload it. In the corner.
There you go.
Ethan Ryan brings Hull KR back within 2. A huge score. And a kick for parity.
Kenny Dowell's paid his debt. He got in there, he hit the line. He was dead, he was all over. And the ball popped out the top. Watch this. Watch the ball come out the top. Matt Parcells again. We talked about straight to Ethan Ryan. Boom, get that into you.
And he's got that in his locker, has Sean Kenny Dowell. He can get the ball, release the ball, because he's long-limbed, he's got great hands. He wraps that big thumb of his around the ball, gets the hand free. And it's just about numbers at the end of the day at that point in time. But what I love about that, especially, Nobby, is you made 2 calls there. You said not only will Sean Kenny Dowell come back on and have to prove himself, but equally the game's going to overtime. Penalty kick here first, though. Not penalty, the goal kick here first.
Yeah, big kick this.
Yeah, it's got a similar feel, although albeit with a good 18, 17 minutes left on the clock of Johnny Lomax's try and Tommy Makinson having to slot one from It's got a similar feel, hasn't it? Like I say, albeit with longer left on the clock.
I also said that Hull KR had to offload. There wasn't a greater exhibition of that than from Sean Kenny Dowling. And Matt Parcells would have to play his part, and he tipped it on.
I think also you also pointed out, you mentioned Michael Lewis jumped out of acting half, and straight on the back of that, Matt Parcells jumped out of acting half. Penalty given. That's something that they're probably going to bring back to the game, need to bring back to the game over the next 10, 15 minutes.
So Brad Schneider, the hero at Headingley last week, can he be the hero again? 105 goals in his career in reserve grade and first grade. And this one as important as any. The man from Adelaide to boot Rovers level has nailed it! 10 apiece! Hold on to your seats, because this cup tie, this semi-final is only just revving up.
This is a good game. This is a great game of football.
What a kick. They barely got off the ground, that kick. It was a worm tickler.
There's your
cut through the sticks.
There's Parcells. There's Ethan Ryan with the finish. Get in. And then the kick. Every day of the week I thought he's going to miss this. There's no way. He was looking at it, not looking at it, and then he just went plop. There you go.
So Wigan to kick us off again. Rovers will get the ball back here, barring an error. And it'll be Lewis Senior who takes one for the team and takes his side forward. But Wigan off the line and belting hard. I used to watch, Challenge Cup semi-finals at Headingley, and they always had a special feel. With Ray French or anywhere in commentary on it, and we're back there now, aren't we? This is just as good as anything we've seen.
The noise is deafening.
Linnett trying to plunder meters. Parcells skipping from acting half, gets it away to Kennedy. Still quarter an hour to play. Last tackle. Attacking kick maybe here from Schneider. Sends it high. Field over the shoulder. Being willed to drop it by that huge Rovers group of fans. But those at the opposite end, the Western Terrace, absolute fair play to them. Those in cherry and white. And their team trying to stand up firm for them. Miski now. Every tackle being willed by those Rovers fans, and they are matching that intensity. Smith kicks. Good cover by Lewis. Space to move into, but it'll be Senior who does the hard yards.
Well, it's gone into that end-to-end stuff now at 10-all. Who'll crack, who might not crack. Hull KR with the extra person. They can't go away from what they've done. They've got to stick with the process, otherwise they'll come unstuck against this really determined Wigan team.
Sean Kenny down. Driving every leg and limb. Here comes Lewis. Taken down on the 40. Parcells plays simple to King. Wet weather rugby league here. Now the kick. Schneider already winding up the boot. Farrell tries to get to him. Marshall being pressured, and he does pass the test.
They're great, the Wigan back three. Jay Field, and Marshall, Abasmishki today have cleaned everything up, but they're under extreme pressure here. Great tackle from the Hull KR forwards.
And they are trying to bend this Wigan respite back. All of that time on the back.
And they're being carried on a wave and a crescendo of noise from those Hull KR fans at the other end.
It seems the closer they are to their fans, the more energy they have.
They are certainly ensuring Wigan are being drowned in their own end of the field here. 13 to play. All square here as Smith belts that ball downfield. A nervous spectator on the sideline will be Jordan Abdul. He's with Damien.
Yeah, he's scratching his beard, he's biting his nails. How do you see it?
It's still an even game. I think it took us a good 10 minutes to, get used to being up a player. I think Wigan responded to the red card a lot better than we did, but that try's got us back in the game now, and hopefully, having the numerical advantage that we can come away with a win now.
Thanks a lot.
No worries, thank you.
Ball square. Who will bite first? Who will blink first? Kenny Dowell looking for an offload, found one. Brilliant cover tackle though. That source from Toby King and forces an error.
Ourselves is disappointed with that. Kenny Dowell's impacting on the game. So see if we can see a knock on this. I think one.
Well, that's unsurprisingly greeted with boos.
Let's get in, boys, please.
It's poor for Pan to come on. It's Parcell there. Well, he surely kept that in his grasp, but there we go. Call made. Scrum formed. Rovers under the pump on this particular set. Wardle. Schneider wraps.
One.
And doesn't miss.
Move. Hold.
Field finds Farrell.
2. Move.
Put down.
On there, boys. Hold.
In traffic centre field. Smithies. Piers Paul is on now. Flings an offload after colliding with the net. Little pop pass by French. Here comes King.
3.
Running back into the traffic.
Well, they nearly got free on the right side via French, but they couldn't get the ball over the top. Kenny Dowell's running around and doing everything. He's stopping plays, creating plays, and trying to win this game single-handedly. He might just do that.
Field hits the line out the back. Great rack tackle again from Schneider.
Move.
Hit and stuck. Boomed off the beat by Smith. Swirling. Brilliant take to the back nose. Equally good as the kick from Rovers.
Oh, there's some high-quality play being made from both teams. Catching in the backfield, the quality kick from Smith, the quality of the chase. We have got a semi on our hands, Matt.
Yes, we do.
Third. Move straight out.
10 apiece. Parcell finds Opacek. And Lewis.
Move.
Taken down. The wriggling fish act in middle of the field. Opacek skimming the line. He might find some space here. Can he release that pass? Oh, that was a horrible looking challenge. He's going to get bent. Double in the wrong way.
We're going to look at it now because he's going to go to the screen.
Penalty, Megan. Just let him get sorted here.
He's back up, Tom Opacek.
Cheers, Johnny.
Was the head contact in that? I
don't know.
Bevan French got tangled underneath his legs, and that's what makes the tackle look a little bit worse. Boom there. It's not as big a contact, is it?
Let's have a
But
look.
any contact with the head. Oh, yeah.
It was head to head, it's an accident.
Yeah.
I think it's a head clash as much as anything. Boy, we've had some incident in this game. I think it's a head clash. No, it might be a shoulder.
It's the back of his shoulder, isn't it? It's kind of his head kind of whiplashes into the back of the shoulder.
Mitigation, that's why it's a penalty.
It's clearly dangerous.
He's falling, but there's contact with the head. There is, mate, there is. It's been reviewed. It's been reviewed, Liam.
So penalty Rovers. Farrell took some getting used to that decision, it's fair to say. Penalty sufficient.
I think that's a sensible call. Yeah,
I think
punishment.
he was falling to the ground.
He was falling to the ground. In a bad position.
So Schneider.
You go for the drop goal this set. You go for the drop goal this set.
Oh, you do.
You play it in the middle and aim to get a penalty out of the opposition.
You do. You let that thing called time play on the opposition's mind. To go get a 1-pointer, get ahead of them, and let them play against the clock.
Here come Rovers.
Move, Leon!
Parcell waits. That acting half. Rovers 1 points now. They don't want an extra set of golden point time. Schneider lurking. They'll play it this time. Milnes. Schneider to the line. Came the nets. Classic line from him, but again, Wigan grafting. Players dragging themselves off the canvas here. The back end of this game.
They've got numbers on the right side. They've got numbers on the right.
They're waiting.
Snyder on a drop goal.
They're set up for this one. Schneider dribbles in behind, straight to Smith.
Wow.
That's the wrong option.
Wow.
I'm going to say it. That was the wrong option. I'm not out there. I'm not got players in my face, but that looked like the wrong option. Should have gone for the 1-pointer.
O'Neill finds Marshall. So often those outside backs are the donkeys of the team, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term. I mean
Great
that
carry.
in terms of the hard work they do, and that was a really incisive run from Brad O'Neill. Scooped up by Miskey. Following suit. Last one. It's a long way out here. Should be an attacking kick. Harry Smith sends it off the toe. It's another howler. It's going to split fullback and winger here. The bounce is kind. No, Ethan Ryan just about got it.
That was a lucky bounce there. That was an absolute pearl of a torpedo bomb. Moved in the air, did everything right, found ground. Very lucky whole KR. I tell you what, every time Harry Smith kicks the ball, Bevan French is trailing it like a missile.
Lewis that time offering the ball up. Trying to get Rovers on the front foot. It's 12 against 13. Wigan down to 12 after Joe Shorrock sending off. Man advantage for those in red and white. Tarsal finds Luckley.
Good carry.
Steamroller in stuff from him. Last one for Rovers. Schneider's turn to give it some air time. The field is home at the back.
Danger.
It will soon be swamped.
Got to think about your discipline here as well now.
Tell you what, Wigan are looking tired. They're trailing back on side real slowly. A lot of their big boys just walking back. Remember, they're still a one-man down.
As it stands, we are heading for Golden Point with 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes remaining.
Jay Field starting to sniff around the middle of the park now.
Golden Point, infinite periods of 5 minutes until each side.
Harry Smith got a 4. He's out the 40. I thought he was going to try and level the 40-20.
One halfway. Back to Smith it goes. Less distance this time, more height. Pierce pulls in the frame. Bounces off his shoulder. Lewis dropped it. And then they drag him over the line. Well, that has been called a stick. Drop out here.
There's a drop goal attempt for Wigan.
I would have a look at that tackle on the kick.
Definitely.
Did he not get tackled before he caught the ball?
Definitely.
And a little bit of controversy, perhaps.
I mean, as far as I know, you're not allowed to lay a finger on him. Okay, more talking points. Let's go.
Drama, drama, drama. Golden Point on the horizon. Infinite periods, as I say, of 5 minutes.
No, they'll go for a drop goal this set. If you're Wigan, go for the drop goal this set.
It might not be needed. Here they come until we have a winner. Any point will count. Harry Smith not tempted into it this time. Warder will set a closer point here.
We'll play in the middle.
He's waiting.
They've got options. They've got Jay Field who can kick drop goals. They've got Harry Smith who can kick drop goals.
Now it's Smith. Now it's Smith. They'll come out to swamp him. He'll get it wide to French. French's one is blocked and it's straight to the lurking.
I thought he was offside.
James Batchelor. Is he offside? He's allowed to play on.
Wow, great excitement, great drama. Who's going to kick it? Harry Smith? No. Back to Bevan French. He'll have a crack. Great effort from opposite. Was it opposite? I couldn't see who ricocheted it down, but was he offside?
OKR fans trying to lead their team. Senior trying to lead them on the field. Tarsal spins it to Milnes, who uses a bit of footwork. Last one So Wigan have won the mini tussle on that set because Rovers happened to kick. But this is a real test of a field as it swerves through the air. Great take on the full, but Schneider was there with a great chase.
Brilliant from Schneider. Oh, 6 again.
6 again. Not that it really matters. But Wigan have it. There we go. Start of the set anyway, wasn't it? Smith onto Wardle.
The Hull KR do not want to give away a defensive penalty here. No team want to give up these penalties in these final 3 minutes.
So here comes Miski.
Move! Hold!
Wow. What a...
So, King up the jumper stuff. Trying to get into the right end of the field. Liam Farrell, last one. It will have to be another clever kick here from Smith. Far, surely too far out. Ricochets, was it played out? No, says Liam Moore. So it's still on the tackle count, and then Field is tackled with the ball on halfway. I'm not sure if he lost the count. He was expecting a set restart. One didn't come, and he didn't look for the play or hear it.
Well, here's a chance for Hull KR here. They can get down there. They can get within field goal range.
Well, play in the middle. You might get a penalty. They get anxious, Wigan, they may jump the line. The referee might call that. There's where you play at the middle, and then your drop goals available.
Huge carry from Opacek that time. Rovers still have tackles left here to maybe give themselves an even better position. And they're staring down the barrel with less than 2 to play. Parcell jumps from acting half. Luckily shudders forward. Offloads to Litton. Litton with the footwork. How Rovers would love to win this with a score.
It's on.
But a drop goal they would take it. Parcell with the dummy. Parcell screaming into space. Last one. Schneider wants it. Schneider wants it to be the hero again. He won't kick it this time. Milnes. Now Kenny Dow. Kenny Dow still going here. Schneider drops it. Wigan survive again.
Amazing work by Jay Field there. He ran from underneath his sticks to put pressure on Schneider, and then he followed that with putting pressure on Milnes. Absolutely brilliant work by that man.
Well, Wigan might get a crack here. They're out on their feet. Look at them. They want the full-time hooter, so somebody can plan to drop a goal in some kind of golden point scenario. Oh.
It doesn't deserve to be a loser.
That's a good call, Rob.
Wow.
That's a good call.
Let's replay this game next week. Let's do it all again.
So, Brad O'Neill being patched up. Wigan down to 12 after Joe Shorrock sent off. They've shown courage in the onslaught from Rovers. They've thrown plenty themselves. This cup tie at the moment will not be decided in normal time. Pierce ball being patched up. Running repairs all over the field. 1 minute, 2 seconds remaining of regular time. Wigan's ball. Deep in their own end of the field. Just waiting for the call to continue. That's Liam Farrell. It's absolutely banjoed by a trio of Rovers players. They've been utterly energised by their fans. A thumping cup tie, a thumping semi-final. Wembley is up for grabs here. Mago leading the breakout. Time against Wigan in normal time to snatch it here. So here comes Kai Pearce-Paul. Less than half a minute remaining.
The big spread play coming here, right to left.
They're going to go for it. Mago, that wasn't in the script. Getting battered by
it was good from Staunton. It was good from Staunton because he stopped a set play there.
Last tackle here for Wigan. Smith needs distance on the kick. He certainly got it. Hail Mary time for Rovers. If they're going to take this in normal time, but it looks as though it will be a sudden death decider.
What a great game, Matt.
You called it, Brian Noble. 80 minutes of utterly ferocious, fantastic contact. between two top teams, Hull KR and Wigan. They could not be split. Golden point to come. Hull KR 10, Wigan 10 after 80 minutes.
So you want to win the kick-off next?
Wow, what a half of it. What a game we've had here, Jamie.
Absolutely outstanding. I think the desire and commitment from both sides has been incredible. Both lacking a bit of composure there, I think, as we get down to the last 10 minutes. We've been screaming, take the drop ball and go for it. But I just think, again, the players have delivered. They delivered yesterday, they delivered again. It's what a fantastic game.
In fact, you were surprised they didn't try earlier for a drop goal. They seemed to wait and wait and wait.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we got into that last 10 minutes, he could have gone for that drop goal. But I mentioned to JP a few times, Hull KR had that overlap against Wigan and often went for that lead runner. But if they'd have hit out the back at one point, it was a 3v1 for them.
I think they've had the perfect dress rehearsal for this Hull KR last week against Leeds. They obviously got over that one. I agree with Faye. I think they had an opportunity about 8 minutes to go where they could have had a go and they put a bit of a nothing kick through. But Wigan as well, Wigan have had a dress rehearsal for this, playing with 12 men for large parts in the quarter-final. I just thought the defence and attitude was fantastic there.
So, well, we don't know who's going to win it, do we? I mean, it's a drop goal kick-a-thon. Let's hope it's done and it doesn't go to penalty kicks, because I've not actually ever seen one of those. It's going to be quite some golden point, extra time. Matt, I hope you've got your breath back. Let's hand you back to our commentary team. Robbie Hunter-Paul, Brian Noble and Matt Newsom.
Yeah, good test of the vocal cords, this one. Rovers fans have tested theirs out, Brian Noble, that's for sure.
Well, I think Hull KR will be happy they're kicking off. They've got to restrict territory now for Wigan and ensure that they don't get within range. So early on, they're just trying to establish field position for that. And this will help do it. Restrict territory so they may get a chance.
So this is the story. Golden point time, any point of any variety, try, drop goal, penalty goal, will be enough to settle it for either side. So it's down to nerve, it's down to composure, it's down to class and quality and skill and physicality, all the ingredients that make rugby league the game that we love so much here. As Smithies finds Smith, and he will have to launch this, give this plenty of distance. Lewis takes it on his own 20, and he's being beckoned forward by those Rovers fans as senior.
Well,
guides his side forward.
It's a great result. Lewis finding senior there to start them on the 40 metres. They're really desperate for that. Smith went for the 40-20, I think. I think that was his actions because we're on play 4.
So Wigan down to 12. Joe Shorrock sent off. So they've got the man deficit. All square on the scoreboard. Pass out to Milnes. Turn back now with Kane Lynette. It's a long way out still. Litton now onto Luckley. Big surge down the middle here.
That's within distance. It's within distance.
It's the last one. Schneider waits for the chance. Schneider sends it on its way.
It's there. It's there.
And it's the Wembley. The owners have been dethroned, and it's Hull KR who are heading back to the big time.
Unbelievable. You can't kick it from that far. He absolutely nailed it. I didn't think he'd go for it, and he did.
He did this 7 days ago for Lee against Leeds, for Hull KR, overtime, 1-pointer. He's done it again.
Brad Schneider, the man from Adelaide, signed mid-season to give them such a boost, and boy has he done it. He's repaid it in spades. He is heading for Wembley, so are the Robins. They have bombed over Wigan here in golden point time. What drama, what ferocity, what a game. Brad Schneider, ice in his veins. Utterly wonderful.
Well, we've witnessed an unbelievable game there, Matt. Tough, exciting, good speed, good skill, offloads, bashing each other. In the end, probably the difference, one of the differences was the send-off didn't help Wigan, but they kept it together, they were used to it. 11-10, wow, what a game.
Brian Noble, your player of the match selection, along with Robbie Hunter-Paul. In that, I mean, Brad Schneider might have put his hand up for it, but a man who was terrific throughout won it.
Well, he jumped in at late notice to play full-back. He's played anywhere in this team, and he's played brilliantly well every time. He's been energetic, he's been enthusiastic. He's run that backfield. Mikey Lewis is our man of the match of today.
So, Hull KR have won this by a single point. They are heading to Wembley. Let's join Kevin Brown for some reaction.
Well, it's absolutely going off down here. Brad Schneider, talk us through how you're feeling right now.
Boys, wait up, would you? Nah, mate, unbelievable this. What's that, lads? What's it? Mate, can't believe it, eh? Never thought my 2 games being a Robin, I'd have to have 2 field goals, so coming down to that was a bit scrappy today, but mate, we stuck in there again, and I didn't want to miss the first one like last week, so I got to get the first one again.
And coming home from Canberra, did you know this meant so much to these fans in the Challenge Cup?
Mate, I had no idea about the Challenge Cup when I come over here. Mate, the passion in it from the fans, from the clubs, mate, I had no idea about it, but now being around it, it's such a good feeling to be a part of it, and to bring the boys away, it's such a good feeling to go into the Wembley.
And last question, you dropped a goal last week on this ground. Perfect rehearsal. What was going through your mind when you got to the golden point?
Oh, I didn't want to miss the first one. Last week I missed the first one, and I practiced a fair bit during the week. I said if I get another opportunity, I can't miss it. So when it came, I was pretty confident, and yeah, at best I struck the ball.
Brad, soak it up. Well done.
Well, how to make yourself an absolute legend in East Hull in 2 games.
Easy, dead easy. I mean, we were having a little bit of a laugh about his drop goal against Leeds last week, but he absolutely nailed that one. It was an outstanding effort from him. And, you know, two great sides today, you know, fine margins between both of them. And this just...
Faye, go on, you're the drop goal specialist.
Under pressure, the pressure Wigan put on the kickers all game was outstanding. You can't fault that, but for him to nail that drop goal with 2 players running at him, that is someone who is cool and calm there.
That was a sweet strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable strike, and for him as well, for Willie Peters, for this club, it's been an outstanding day. But as JP mentioned, there shouldn't have been a loser here. It was a really, really good game of rugby league, but they stayed calm at the end and finished that off.
We can see Kevin Brown, he's trying to get Willie Peters, but understandably he's apparently lost his voice, so he wouldn't be able to speak over the deafening noise here. I mean, what an impact he has had as a coach.
I think he'll be absolutely delighted with the way his sides performed today. The first 20 minutes, I thought they showed a lot of discipline leading to the first try that they scored. They lost away a little bit, I thought, in the middle part of the game. Then the back 20 minutes again, they came good, albeit with Wigan down to 12 players. And Sean Kenny-Dowell played a big role in that game as well. We spoke about him before. Leader created that try to bring him at back level again. But they deserve this Hull KR. They've got some great people working behind the scenes. Willie Peters what he wanted to establish Willie Peters was a team that compete and fight for everything, and you've seen that today in Hull KR's performance.
Just to mark your card, we will be getting more reaction from both camps on Challenge Cup Extra on the iPlayer and on the app. And we are down the Wigan end, and the Wigan players looking distraught. It is the 2 flip sides of sport.
Yeah, that's right, but I think Wigan deserve a lot of credit for the way they fought down to 12 men. It's something that they used to do, and you saw that spirit and fight. It's interesting that the player who nearly charged the drop kick down was Liam Farrell, a man who epitomised that fight and that resilience and that grit. They'll live to learn another day, Wigan.
It has been an absolutely incredible semi-final. It's been an absolutely incredible weekend of rugby league for both the men and for the women. We will have more reaction on Challenge Cup Extra, but we're off to Wembley. We're down to the finalists. We'll see you on August the 12th. Well, welcome back to Headingley. We have had an extraordinary semi-final here with Hull KR winning in Golden Point extra time. Let's get a bit more reaction now. Matt Pete is with Damien Johnson.
Matty, it's a cruel way to go out of any Challenge Cup, or any game, in fact. What are your immediate thoughts?
Fantastic game. Proud of the players, and credit to Hull KR, ultimately. You know, they got what they deserved. I thought it was a great game, great effort for the sport. I'm very, very proud of my players. That's the main thing. I couldn't ask much more from them, and it was a semi-final.
The red card for Joe Shorrocks, I guess, was crucial. What was your view of it? Was it deserved? Could it have been a yellow?
It certainly could, couldn't it? But you know, those are the moments in games. They happen. You got to get on with it. You know, there's other things in the game that you'll question, but ultimately it was pretty level, and you know, the best team just pipped it at the end. So I wish both teams all the best in the final. Should be a fantastic event. I'm just gutted we're not there.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Damien.
And Kevin Brown now is with George King, part of the winning Hull KR team.
Thanks, Tanya. George, you just said it was the hardest game you've played, and how was that for you?
Honestly, the first 5-10 minutes were absolutely backs against the wall. They were really good today, Wigan. Honestly, I've never played a game like it, and we had to really stick into it. Even when they went down to 12 men, gee, what a game, though. What a finish. Props. I said to him, this is your moment. And Sam and Soz, and even Jez as well, took that carry. It were a whole team effort just to get that conversion. What an effort, unreal.
And talk to us about these fans. What does this feel like now for these?
Oh, absolutely unreal. Honestly, the treble in numbers, absolutely fantastic, home and away. Absolutely unreal. And, you know, we've got 3 games now before we play Wembley, maybe 2. But oh my God, wow, I'm so shocked, so surreal.
And is there any sadness for your brother in the opposite dressing room?
Yeah, honestly, there actually is. Honestly, there's got to be one winner, there's got to be one loser. I feel really, you know, I put my arm around him and I said, honestly, mate, keep your head up, because he gave everything then, and so did the whole Wigan lads. I want to give credit to them, even their fans, for sticking in that end where it's full of rain, and they made it such a good semi-final.
Well, George, enjoy it, soak it up. Good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Wow, you can just hear how tough a game that was from just the way he was talking, can't you? But what it means to him, he's just signed a new deal with the club.
Yeah, I think that first 5 or 10 minutes was pretty intense for George there. But yeah, he played a big role in everybody, all the 17 players. And I think he epitomises what's going on. Okay, I think Willie Pete has got the best out of him in the environment that he's in at the moment. So yeah, I made up for him. You can see how happy he is.
Oh, what fantastic scenes there with the Hull KR fans. They have waited a little while to go back to a final. Their man of the match today was Mikey Lewis. He's been speaking to Damien.
Mikey, congratulations on the Betfred Challenge Cup man of the match. But Brad Schneider, who writes his script?
He can't write it. We've been in that last week and he clutched it, and yeah, I ain't got no words at the moment. You know, we've worked hard all year, and this is one of our goals, to get to Wembley, and yeah, we've done it. So I can't wait for the next few weeks now and get out there on the big stage.
That was as tough as it gets, wasn't it?
Yeah. Obviously we lose one of our biggest carriers in warm-up, Ryan. And then I'm going to go full-back, Ethan's going to go on the wing, and you know, we just got to adapt to it. And the coach said, just be ready, he'll go on any time. And you know, when I got told back end of warm-up I'm going full-back, I just got my head around it and just did my job for the team, because you know, we've got guys retiring this year, and we've got a young bunch of lads and who want to dream, and you know, hopefully we can go all the way and win it now.
What about these Hull KR fans? They've been starved of certainly success in the Challenge Cup for years and years. They were magnificent.
Yeah, look at them, right? They're unbelievable. Turn out in the numbers every week, whether we're losing games or we're winning. Yeah, we can't thank them enough for what they do for us. They inspired us on today, and that, you know, all the way through. So us as players are very grateful for what the support base we've got. Sorry.
Congratulations, you're going to Wembley. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Cheers. Thank you.
Oh, what a lovely interview from Michael Lewis. I'm delighted to say we've been joined by Willie Peters. A little bit husky from screaming there. Wow, what a job your team did today.
Yeah, it was a great effort. I thought we did it the hard way. You know, we went away. Once I went down to 12 men, we panicked a little bit. And then we stuck to a plan that we'd had. And once we did that, then we started to create a bit of momentum. Sorry.
Don't worry, we completely understand. I mean, we talked with you beforehand about Brad Schneider. I mean, how to make yourself an instant hero. This ground, he's going to love it. He'd want the final played here, wouldn't he? And it go to a drop goal. What a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it has been. He wasn't overly happy with his first half. Overplayed a little bit. This was what we were talking about. He spoke to me about half time. And I've only known the kid a couple of weeks, but I know how calm and composed, and he's a true halfback. And he managed that game perfectly at the back end there, and he's only going to get better and better for us.
I think we've got your reaction at full time. I know as a coach here, they say stay calm and all of that, but what a moment.
Yes,
that was quite special.
Yeah, but, I mean, at the end of the day, we haven't done anything yet. We're going to Wembley, which it's massive for our club, but we haven't won the title yet, so we've got to go do another job, but it's huge for our club to get there. But we've got to learn from 2015. We got there last time and we fell short. You don't want to just get there and regret your effort and the way you play. So we need to we'll enjoy this, but we need to regroup again. And we're playing against a very, very good team in Lee. But it's great to see two teams that, obviously Lee's doing a wonderful job this year. He's just come up from the championship, and obviously KR is not known as the bigger club. So it's good to see two teams there.
Was it all part of the plan for Ryan Hall to get injured and Mikey Lewis to come off the bench and win man of the match?
I spoke to you guys, and then I walk over and thought, okay, job's done, and then pretty much they say Hawley's not good. And if Hawley we gave to, obviously right at the end, he was okay yesterday, but he felt it, and I know if Ryan Hall says he can't play, he can't play. So, the guys were calm when they went in the dressing room, and they said they'll handle it, which they did, and I thought we handled it well.
And how do you feel, seriously, first year's head coach, make your first final that's available?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, it's special, but as I said, we haven't achieved what we want to. We'd love to win it, but it's great to be there. So I'm really proud of the players, I'm proud of the staff, I'm proud of everyone involved in the club, because it takes a lot of hard work to get to a Wembley Cup final. I was just talking to Aaron Neil, and no one's worked harder than Neil, and he keeps us all grounded because we haven't done anything yet.
With the move to Mikey Lewis at fullback, playing with three halfbacks on the pitch, what was the impact of that on your squad today?
Yeah, I thought it worked well. We know Mike, and he's played there before and done the job. And when he gets the ball in his hands, we look more effective. And I thought he started to do that as the game went on. The halves probably didn't combine as well as what we'd like in that first period, but towards the back end of the game, I thought they started combining well, and that's when we got a bit of momentum off the back of it.
So what happens there? You've got 3 weeks. Do you manage the squad during that 3 weeks? Because you're also in playoff contention in Super League.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I haven't been in this situation. Obviously, it's my first year, but we're only in the sixth at the moment on a points difference, which is minimal. So we play Cass in 5 days' time, and we need to go there and do a job. We need to stay in that sixth. So, we'll have a look at the players. The good thing is we're getting a few bodies back, which is the main thing. So, we're still going to go after the Super League, because that's obviously the main competition. That's week in, week out. But it's one of those that you need to manage it properly as well. And we'll have a look at it. We'll obviously have a look and see how everyone pulls up after today.
Willie, many congratulations. Your team certainly did you proud today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us pre-match and for this.
Thank you.
Many congratulations.
Cheers.
Well, let's get a bit more reaction now. Kevin Brown has been speaking to Lewis Senior.
Lewis, talk to us through that, mate. How did that feel for you?
Unreal. I've never experienced anything like it. That drop goal, 40 metres out, sailing over. The feeling I've got right now is something I've never experienced before. It's so good.
And how hard was the game in these conditions? You carried it well. Was it difficult?
Yeah, really difficult. Obviously, a couple of drops, crease conditions. Could have done better, really, but the boys really dug deep, and we never gave up. And
at the end of the game, how much did these fans help you get over the line?
Yeah, it was unreal. It really felt like a home game, and it was so loud. I could barely hear what was going on from the teammates and that, but yeah, unreal.
Well, good luck, well done, enjoy the night.
Thank you.
I mean, Jamie, you know more than the rest of us. You spent a little bit of time at Hull KR. How much this will mean to the club, to their owner, to the fans?
Yeah, it's absolutely huge for the club, for their owners. We spoke before that they're trying to build into being a top 4 side. You do that by getting to finals. And I think this time they've got a genuine chance of winning it. I'm not saying they fought that in 2015, but Willie said it there. It's great to see 2 different clubs there, you know, Hull and Liam both having a chance to win it. And do you know what? It's going to be noisy at Wembley, isn't it, with the OKR fans there? I think there'll be nobody left in the east side of Hull.
And you were out there. I mean, the celebration's quite something.
It was something else. I don't think I've ever experienced that sort of passion. You know, in the middle of it, there was tears. You know, there was people jumping all over. We were pushing people away so Brad Snyder could speak. But you see what it means to him, and there's a fairy tale, like Jamie says. Either way now, whether it's the Lee Leopards or Hull KR, it's been a fantastic weekend and 2 of the best semi-finals I've witnessed.
Well, let's take a beat and look back at that incredible drop goal. Faye, I think you should talk us through it as the drop goal specialist amongst us.
I tell you something, this was one heck of a drop goal. Just the pressure what Wigan put on at first, 40 metres out and sailed straight between the 6. We looked at his drop goal last week and it just got over there, but that was outstanding.
Before the game, I was watching him warm up on it, and he was practicing his drop goals. And I'll be totally honest, he didn't get one near the post. and the 2 he's done, God, he don't look like missing. So he got rid of the rubbish before the game. But like Faye says, that is, you can't beat that drop goal. The pressure he was under in terms of the match, the pressure he was under in terms of the defenders, but then to just nail it like he did in the wet for a young man. He's been such an addition from Australia.
And I mean, the composure, Willie Peters talks about it. I mean, they're not nerves of steel.
Yeah, absolute nerves of steel. I mean, what an 8 days for him. He's come over and nailed the drop goal against Leeds, beat them here, and then hit the one to take them to the semi-final. Just crazy. You'd have thought 15 days ago he wouldn't have been thinking about this.
And just, you know, Faye, to come in such a pivotal position in the halves and be as influential as he has in the 2 games, incredible.
Yeah, it is, and it's always quite a hard position to slot into. You don't often want to move your side around when you've got 2 consistent halves, but I think someone of his talent, of his skill, he really shown up today, and his attack was spot on, but at the end, to hit that drop goal, he deserves all the credit he can get.
There's actually an headache now if Jordan Abdul's fit for the final, and I think he's not far off. So if Jordan Abdul gets back, how does that work? I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to drop any of them, but we know how good Jordan Abdul is too. So it's a difficult one, but probably a good one for Willie Peters.
Is that why you didn't go into coaching?
Well, I've got grey hair anyway. I've not even gone into coaching, so imagine what it'd be like.
I mean, you're right, because I think the decision with Jordan Abdul was it depends what they do for the rest of the season as to whether or not they take a chance, because it's one of those injuries they're not quite sure what the root cause of the injury is.
And I think because the experiments clearly worked today, I put in Mikey Lewis at fullback and the other halves complementing that and winning games as well. You can't underestimate the fact that them lads have done the hard yards and got them to the final. So it's a difficult one because he is such a talented player, but I'm not sure what the answer is.
These are the moments you live for, I think. They're the moments you miss as a player not playing anymore. You've been in a battle, some resilience. You come from behind, a man's been sent off, and then you've had a guy come in who's only been at the club 2 weeks and nail a drop goal. You know, at the start of the week, this is what you've been wanting to do as a player. This is what you want. And Willie's saying, I bet he's saying, look, there's one more to go here.
He's saying, get in close, boys, because I can't speak, because I've done all my shouting pre-match and in the game. You can see what it means to him.
And you say those are special moments. You had that yesterday when you went back in. What is it like? You've jumped around with your fans and celebrated, but what is that closeness like?
Yeah, you play this sport because you're part of a team, but essentially you've not won anything yet. You've just going to Wembley, and I think that's something Matty brought us back down with yesterday. He was like, girls, we've got to Wembley, but actually the next step now is to win there. Yeah, it's a bit of history getting there, but without the win, you're just another participant. So I think once your feet hit the ground again, let them enjoy the win, and then once they're back in training, I'm sure they'll be back in tomorrow for recovery. That's when they look forward to Wembley.
Well, wonderful as it is for the winners who are off to Wembley, there is a loser, and that is, of course, Wigan. Bevan French has been talking to Damien.
Bevan, commiserations. It's a tough way to lose, isn't it? What's your first thought?
Yeah, shattered, obviously.
everyone had written down what they wanted to play for. It's a big occasion, and you come here, you want to win trophies, and to go down like that, you can't really put it into words at the moment. It's still trying to sink in, and it's just shattered, really. Shattered.
It was a brutal game, wasn't it? As physical as it gets.
Yeah, it was, and credit to both teams. I think that it was just physical for the whole 80 minutes. Both teams went down to 12 men there, and it was just battling it out, really, just hitting it up, and there wasn't much shape there in that second half. It was just physical, just hit it up, kick to the corner, see who breaks first, and no one broke, and then it came down to that last, an extra time there. So you can't knock the effort, that's for sure.
What was your thinking going into Golden Point? Just get some field position, however we can, and drop it.
Yeah, it's a funny one. We had a Golden Point a couple of weeks ago against Wakefield, and we spoke about how we wanted to do that, and we probably, the game management side of things there probably didn't get to where we wanted to be, and costly, but yeah, it's something now. It's going to hurt, and we can use this as a learning curve now throughout the rest of the season, and it hurts, but like I said, hopefully we can learn from this.
In terms of intensity, did that match the NRL, do you think?
I think definitely in that first 20 there, and when it was end for end sort of stuff, there was no breaks in play, and it was just non-stop, and honestly, I didn't know what I was thinking out there at that time, so I definitely matched the intensity there, and that's what it brings to knockout football and this competition, and the wet weather as well. There's not much shape and stuff going on. It's just bashing through the middle, and it was a grind.
Appreciate you talking to us, Bevan. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, he did speak very well for a man who's just lost a Challenge Cup semi-final. The red card, a hugely significant turning point in the game. Did you think it was a red card for Joe Sharks?
We've been debating that and looking at it, and I just think he's executed this tackle too well. He's hit him, and the aftermath of it, it's just borderline going up into his head, and you see the way the rules are now and the way they're applied, it's a red card. But I just think it was just that brutal afterwards that the referee felt he had no choice to red card him.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, if he's hit him that hard in the head, surely there should be an HIA. So you can't really have one without the other. If he's sending him off because he's hit him in the head at that force, I actually think he's slid up and hit him in the neck, and that's why Mikey Lewis has been able to play on. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, but we don't want to see that in the game, do we? We don't want to see people getting whacked in the face, ultimately.
Yeah, we agreed on that. We mentioned that if he was hit that hard in the head, it should have gone off for a HIA. But I also think he was falling into the tackle. You see how bent his knees were. Like Jamie said, we don't want any hits around the head, but ultimately I don't think it's a red card.
Yeah, we're a bit biased out because we like that side of the game, but we're trying to move away from that side of the game as well with it.
That's twice they've had a red card in the Challenge Cup. They got through. I mean, they play very well with Tom. It actually lifted them, didn't it, for a little while? But in the end, possibly been costly.
Yeah, it would have been costly in the end. I think you could see they were tired as they got into Golden Point. But that's what the Wigan club is about, isn't it? You've got nothing but admiration for them as a group of players and coaching staff, that they're great and resolved. They don't see it as a problem. They see it as another excuse to win the game, going down to 12 men.
It is incredible, isn't it, how it can energise a team?
Oh, and it definitely energises Wigan. They go up a level, don't they, in terms of intensity and energy. But I actually thought the Miskey tackle was worse. The force that he hit, and that was clear contact to the head. And I know he was falling, but it still hurts when you're falling, let me tell you. So I think that one, I thought Mikey Lewis was falling, and he went. For me, the Miskey tackle was as bad, and I just think the referee thought, I don't want to send him off here.
Here is that tackle. More accidental, this, than the other one. So,
that's a proper front rower.
That's the thing, isn't it? Shades of grey in all these, aren't they? It's really hard to rule them.
Well, it's so difficult. All I'd say is that one there, I think, in terms of damage to your opponent, whether he meant it or not, I think there's probably more risk. Never mind his head, his knees and everything.
Is it partly the spin on that he sort of spins into it?
There's always factors that change the way you tackle and the way you go in, but ultimately if you run that risk and you throw your shoulder in when someone's spinning, you're not 100% sure, and you do hit them in the head, then there should be a consequence.
Okay.
For me, when I looked at that, I was more worried about his knees being under his body and then the hit. But yeah, I wouldn't say that was a card either, but yeah, it was a big hit. But again, he was falling into the tackle, and that is the risk you take. Like Kevin said, we play this sport for the physicality, and that's the risk you're going to take each week.
So there may have been down a man, Wigan, but they were up on the scoreboard, weren't they? It took an Ethan Ryan score to get Hull back in it.
Yeah, and we've mentioned that ill-discipline. It was off a couple of ill-discipline, and it was a set restart. And this is where Kenny Dowell's just about to come back on the field. And this is the penalty from Farrell. It was great defence initially, but then they just went too long on it. And you know what, when they were coming back into it, every time they seemed to get energy, they give a set of 6 away, and they did that again here. And then almost immediately, Sean Kenny Dowell runs onto the field. He's sat down for 10 minutes, and then he beats 4 defenders. And we mentioned his offload and his ability to create and the leadership. And he wanted to do a job. When he got back on, he wanted to repay his team. And you see here on the camera now that there's 4 defenders he sucks in and gets that big long limb out. And ultimately Ethan Ryan goes over, you know, for a match-equaling try.
Spoke before the game about leading by behaviours and leading by example and leading by moments, and he's covered all 3 of them there. And then just what a quick kick there to get that. Schneider just under pressure, amazing.
Yeah, you mentioned his drop goal, but without that, there is no drop goal. That's an amazing kick.
He has had quite a couple of weeks, hasn't he, the young man? He only landed the week before as well. I mean, 3 weeks in England. If he went home now, he's just a legend. But it's like maybe a date with Wembley before that. Well, Robbie Hunter-Paul has braved the Hull KR dressing room to get a bit more reaction.
I'll tell you what, we get a great opportunity to see behind the curtain, so to speak. This is the Hull KR team just celebrating at the moment. Get amongst them. You can see that happiness there. You can see the joy. There's an opportunity there for them to go and make the city and region proud. They're loving it. Look at Mikey Lewis there. And while they're getting among, let's see if we can get a hold of a couple of them, have a quick word. I'm going to grab this man over here first before he gets undressed and gets a little bit inappropriate, so to speak. Elliot Minchella, come on, talk to us about it. How happy are you feeling right now?
Oh man, I'm over the moon, absolutely over the moon. We worked so hard, but we just had a chat between ourselves. We've won nothing yet. You know, we've won a semi-final, but in 3 weeks' time, that's the big game. So we've put ourselves in the big game, and now it's up to us to go and get our hands on the trophy in 3 weeks. You know, we've won nothing tonight. We won nothing today. We won a semi-final, which is awesome, but you know, we're not falling in love with ourselves, not getting carried away. 3 weeks' time.
Brilliant, a very professional sort of mindset on the job. But come on, talk about the type of game it was. Absolute battle.
Yeah, mate. Just an arm wrestle, wasn't it? Arm wrestle, old-fashioned rugby game. Down the middle, and it was, you know, it came down to the last play of the game in Golden Point. What more can you want? So, great way to win. You know, so proud of the boys' effort. You know, we all dug deep. Come off the field with absolutely nothing left, so I'm over the moon. I'm just shattered. I'm knackered. So.
Golden Point last week, Golden Point this week. Must mean everything.
Yeah, we drew on last week a lot. You know, we said it was at the same stadium. We did it a week ago. You know, we were talking about that when the full-time hooter went. We had Golden Point, so we learned from that. And you know, we could have gone a little bit earlier and settled my nerves, but no, we got the 1 point and we're in the final. But we won nothing yet. The big game's in 3 weeks' time.
I saw your old man after the game. He was in a better mood than you are right now.
He's probably had a few beers, that's why.
You do right. All right, let's grab some of these other boys. Kane Lynette. Kane, can we have a quick word with you, mate? BBC, look, what was it like in the middle there?
Oh, it was tough. It was set for set there. It was a real grind, as you expect against Wigan. So it was great the boys hung in there and got over the top of them at the end.
Half-time, you're trailing the game, but actually, you're by no means out of it. What did Willie say?
Oh, just pretty much stick to our process, keep getting through the sets and kicking them in the corners, and I thought we did that, and obviously they got a player set off, and you know, we just kept doing it, and lucky Snides come up the big play at the end.
Okay, you get to the 80th minute. It's like you're in Groundhog Day. It happened last week. What's going through the minds at that point?
Oh, pretty much just keep getting through our sets and defending, and I thought we had a really good defensive set, and Mikey caught it on the full, and straight away we were attacking, and yeah, Snides come up the big play.
Absolutely brilliant. Congratulations. Enjoy the next 3 weeks. Stay fit. Nosy lad. Come on, let's talk about this. Look, halfway through warm-up, I think you get a mix-up in your system and your players, especially in the spine of your team. We had it down as Ethan will be playing at fullback, but you got Mikey Lewis out the back there. As a halfback, what were you thinking before the game kicked off?
It was all right, to be fair. We've trained all week. We've few different combinations just in case. Obviously, we knew Hawley would be 50-50 touch and go. I mean, yeah, we've got a strong connection here. It's sort of like a next man job, and if someone's not right, someone's ready to come in and take the place. So we were ready to go, and yeah, we got the job done, didn't we?
Now, the conditions were horrible, not the type of game that you want to play as a half-back. How was it?
Yeah, it was tough. A few of the boys been getting into me. We had a chat the other week. I was on about staying in the dishwasher instead of the washing machine. That was a tough game. Like, we knew we'd have to come when we won it in the 79th, 85th golden point. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and
And just finally, yes, you're off to Wembley. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's not really sunk in yet, I don't think, but since a kid, like, it's something you dream of, innit? I mean, we just had a chat. It's all right getting there, but we've got to win it now.
Look, congratulations. Enjoy your time.
Fantastic access. Is it a technical term, staying in the dishwasher?
I'm worried that halfbacks are saying that's our job as props to get those wrong.
That's why you're getting it wrong, isn't it?
What an incredibly special final we've got in store. I mean, it means so much to both of these clubs, for Hull KR and for Leigh. You've only just come up from the championship.
I think it's amazing. It's as good as it gets. I think if you look into the two semi-finals, two underdogs have won, two clubs with a heritage or a strong tradition within rugby league, but probably not as been as successful as they've liked, and two clubs that have yo-yoed up and down over the last 10 or 15 years. And I think as well the players and coaching staff deserve to be there. The fans will be amazing, but the owners as well. I think they've got two very different but very passionate owners who are all going to, I think they deserve to be there, because I think rugby league, we need owners who are prepared to put in money and be unselfish with that and support the club, and we've got that with both of those as well.
Yeah, both of them, you know, he's played the long game really, Neil Udjalani. He's been up and down with this club, and you know, the reward he gets now, leading his side out. You know, Derek will be at the side of him in his leopard print, and that's another great story.
What do you think Neil Hudgell will be thinking already about what he's going to wear?
Well, whatever he wears, he's not going to outshine that, is he? So it's going to be a great day for both of them, and the fans as well. The fans have really started to turn out. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic occasion and a fairy tale for either side.
And it is wonderful, isn't it, to see new names at big events?
Yeah, this is why I love the Challenge Cup so much. Such a prestigious cup, but equally the underdogs can always win it. I think a lot of people may have written Wigan to retain it and get to Wembley, but this year, Leigh knocking Saints out and now Hull KR knocking Wigan out.
I just think what's good about it as well is that both clubs, Hull and Leigh, are not languishing at the bottom of the table and fluked it to the Challenge Cup. They've both been consistent this year. They deserve to be in the playoffs where at that moment, and that means I think we'll get a hell of a game. We'll get a fantastic game there, because I think both players will realise this is probably our best chance ever to win a Challenge Cup final. We're not up against, you know, the perceived big four in the final.
And we've touched on it a few times over the course of the weekend. You know, two teams that are doing a lot of things right off the pitch and really trying to build the whole, not just concentrating on the team.
Yeah, and I think that shows in terms of how many people are willing to follow the teams and support them, and they are doing a lot of stuff off the back of the field. But they have to perform on the field as well. It's not just we're doing everything off the field and on the field is no good. Like JP said, these are the two form teams at certain stages of this Super League season. So Hull KR fell away a little bit, but have set up a really good challenge now to come into the final.
Yeah, I think it's going to just be a great day for rugby league all round. Again, two sets of fans as well will be thinking, do you know what, I'm going to enjoy this moment. My team's here at Wembley. Might not happen again. I hope it's going to keep happening again from my side as well.
And a great day as well for the women's game. Yourselves, St Helens against the Leeds Rhinos at Wembley, where you deserve to be and have been for several years. We'll say that quietly, but it should be a fantastic occasion for the women.
Yeah, it should. It's second versus third in the league, and us and Leeds have always met in a final, and it's always been a great one. It's a repeat of the 2022, so a repeat of last year, and both teams want that cup. We want to retain it and do a treble, and I think for us to be put on that stage alongside the men is something we've worked really hard for, and with the backing from the RFL and everyone at BBC to show us and showcase us as you have over the last 12 months has been phenomenal.
It's been quite a weekend, hasn't it?
It's been absolutely incredible. We know with rugby league we have sometimes troubles off the pitch, but on the pitch the players delivered it, and in all four games it's just been outstanding. Real contest, battles of will, great, some fantastic skill on show as well. And we love games that go right to the death, and into Golden Point as well, been brilliant.
Yeah, well, it couldn't have been any better. I'm actually tired, not just from the run pre-match, but I'm tired from watching the games that they've been that good. It's been, if you've been a neutral, you've had an absolute feast of rugby this weekend.
It has been very, very special. Thank you, the three of you, for braving the elements. But hey, it's been worth it, hasn't it? It has been a really, really special weekend of rugby league. And the best thing is we get to do it all again in one day at Wembley on August the 12th. We will see you there. But for now, goodbye.
I guess it goes